a Big 12 North-South Division showdown between Iowa State and the 22nd-ranked Oklahoma Sooners. And when you talk Oklahoma, you're talking Adrian Peterson. The OU junior Heisman hopeful is leading the Big 12 in rushing. His speed and slashing power have made opposing backfield defenses pay dearly every time his 220-pound frame crashes into the secondary. Iowa State plays hard and hits hard. They need this very important victory today to keep up with the Big 12 North. The Cyclones go storming into Norman. Adrian Peterson and the 22nd-ranked Sooners next.
For the first time in 9 years, Adrian Peterson is going to be playing the game with his dad in the stands. A perfect day all the way around for the Peterson family. From Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium in Norman, it's Big 12 football presented by Kia Zera. As today, the Cyclones of Iowa State match up with the 22nd-ranked Oklahoma Sooners. Hi, everybody. Joel Myers alongside Dave Lapham. Welcome to Norman. Well, it's been a long time coming for Adrian Peterson, the guy that we consider to be the best running back in the country. And, Dave, it's going to be a very memorable one for the Sooner running back.
Well, it will be memorable with his dad witnessing this football game, but his effort and his intensity are unquestioned, and his consistency is unquestioned as well. 21 times this young man has rushed for over 100 yards in a game. He's done it 5 times this season. 5 times he's rushed for over 200 yards a game, and he accomplished that once already this season. This kid runs with a fury and a fierceness and a ferociousness that is second to none. And the way he finishes every run is the thing that I think separates him from the rest. Every single inch he is going to fight and scratch and bite for, finishes every run supremely.
And it shouldn't hurt that he's facing the team that's dead last in the Big 12 and trying to stop the run. Iowa State's had problems all year long.
And their best defense may be their offense playing keep away. And Brett Meyer can do that because he's a dual threat. He can beat you with his feet and his throwing arm. One of 4 active quarterbacks in college football to have thrown for over 6,000 yards and rushed for over 600. He understands every nuance of his offense, and he gets everybody involved.
Well, targets on both sides. In fact, for Brett Meyer, he's got one of the best in the nation. At 6'5", Todd Blythe, who's already the career leader in touchdown receptions for the Cyclones. And one of the super softs, Malcolm Kelly. You'll enjoy watching this young man as well for the Sooners. When we come back, Mike Goldberg, Billy Ray Smith, DeMarco Farr, a College Football Saturday studio show. You're watching Big 12 football presented by Kia Zera on FSN. One of the best in the Big 12, one of the most dominant we've seen in many, many years on their home field. The Sooners making their way out here in Norman. And welcome back once again. Today's game is presented in FSN HD. Joel Myers, Dave Lapham, joining third member of our team now, Jim Knoxy.
All right, thank you, Joel. Here he is, Nelson Peterson, the father of Adrian Peterson, about to watch Adrian in person play for the first time in 9 years. You have 30 family members on hand. What's going through your mind right now? Pretty emotional?
Pretty emotional day. Very excited. Get the opportunity to watch Adrian play and have a family reunion at the same time.
Now, you talked to Adrian before the game. What did you tell him?
Just tell him to stay relaxed. He was kind of excited having me here, and I just told him to stay relaxed and go out and play the game and run the ball all day like I know he can.
The last time you saw him play in person, you were assistant coach on a Pee Wee team. This was a championship game in Texarkana 9 years ago. What happened on that day?
On that day, Adrian ran for about 300 and some yards and scored 4 touchdowns and got the MVP of the tournament.
What do you expect to happen today?
I expect him to go out and compete and run hard and play hard like he always have. He plays 110% at all times, and that's why I named him all day.
All right, Nelson, appreciate the time and enjoy the game. Joel?
Thank you.
All right, Knoxy, I love the moniker all day because it really applies to this guy. That is not fiction, it's fact. He wears opponents down.
Right.
Dave, he shook my hand yesterday. I went for x-rays.
I'll tell you
He's
what,
a tough customer.
He's chiseled. He's put together, and I'd take his dad on my team. His dad looks like he could play as well. I mean, that's a pretty good gene pool right there for Adrian Peterson, and his mom was a track athlete, a record setter as well, so a talented family athletically.
Garrett Hartley has it teed up. The Sooners junior place kicker. He'll kick it away. As DeAndre Jackson's over to the near side. Drenard Williams over the far side. As you saw, perfect conditions. And for the Sooners, not a bad start either. Take the running game right out of it for Iowa State as the Cyclones will start at their own 20. So both teams coming in off losses, trying to get their act back together, and especially Brett Meyer offensively, going 19 of 38 last week. He had a touchdown toss as we look at our Kyocera's starting lineup offensively for Iowa State. But that touchdown toss came in the final minute of play. Yeah, after the game was long decided, it was already 28-7 to 28-14 finals. They lost to Nebraska. They also, Dave, and we'll talk about it in our keys, want to get back to the basics and get Stevie Hicks involved. They're single in the backfield.
Right here, between the tackles is big today.
It'll be Hicks on first down, the left side, and they put him down in a hurry. A gain of a couple. C.J. Ayu over there, the defensive end. Offensive line, plenty of seniors. Now can they get it done? Fisher, Sayre, Stevenson, Schmeling, and Aaron Brandt with 41 career starts today. Stevie Hicks in the backfield. John Davis, Austin Flynn, Todd Blythe, the wideouts, and Ben Barkema is the tight end. They've got talent, Dave, at the skill positions.
They do. This offense is they have 10 returning starters, so they know what to do out there. It's just a matter of executing it.
On 2nd and 8, out of the gun. Hicks again, and a pretty good hole up the middle before he's chased down by Ayu, the defensive end, as he gets it up to the 27. So as they get ready defensively, as our Kyocera starting 11 for the Sooners, Burdine, Coleman, Bennett, and Ayu's got a couple of stops already. Pleasant, Latimer, and Alexander. Their linebackers. Latimer, plenty of experience in the middle. On the corners, Marcus Walker, who's exceeded their expectations early. Lendy Holmes, and then Reggie Smith, the safety, along with Darian Williams, the free safety. Reggie Smith, the natural corner, has done a good job for them, though, at the safety spot. Early third down, 3rd and 3. By design, Meyer, and way behind Austin Flynn. So 3 and out with a punt, the last thing they wanted on the road to start the game.
And Oklahoma's defense held Texas to 5 3 and outs in Texas's first 6 possessions last week. So here they go again. Oklahoma defensively starting off very strongly, and Bob Stoops is happy about that. And it's a shame for Iowa State because it was there. You changed the launch point for Brett Meyer, get him out of pocket, and just threw it behind Austin Flynn.
Ready to bring it back for the Sooners, Reggie Smith. And he is a breakaway threat. The defensive back we were just talking about, one of their best in the secondary. Brantner brings down a very high snap and a short wobbler. One hopper, Smith can't make a miss. Good play downfield. Iowa State had the early coverage from Ryan Cook, the fullback. Only a 31-yard punt, and the starting offense, you know, he just got moved back from wide receiver right before the start of the year. About 4 weeks before, in fact. August 3rd, Paul Thompson taking over. The coaching staff very pleased with him. He's more of an in-the-pocket guy, believe it or not, even though he was a wide receiver. Not that much out on the edge. Peterson, no. Throwing on first down. And wide open, the completion. Malcolm Kelly, the young man we were just talking about with a flag down to the play from Longview, Texas. That was a bullet inside the 25.
Malcolm Kelly averaging over 21.5 yards per reception, 5th best in the country. There is a flag. See what the flag's about, but they know Adrian Peterson can run the football. And that was something that happened last week. 11 penalties against Texas, and 5 of them were false starts, being jumpy up front. This one inexcusable, lining up 6 men on the line of scrimmage. You have to have 7. So a big play. That's not just a 5-yard penalty. That's a half the football field penalty because you take into account there was a completion way down the field inside the red zone. Major mental error to start off.
Well, that negates a 34-yard gain. That was all the way down to the 23.
That's a 39-yard penalty right there.
Peterson in the deep single. And again, moving the pocket. Available on the outside. It's taken in by Manuel Johnson, a sophomore from Gilmer, Texas. Gain of about 11 on that play. It'll be 2nd and short coming up. Offensive line very young. In fact, 4 sophomores, and the 4 sophomores on this offensive line, they didn't redshirt, so they are truly a youth group. Messner, Robinson, Cooper, Walker, and Braxton. And then the skills, Peterson in the backfield with Clapp, the fullback, Kelly, and Iglesias, the super sophomore wide receivers. The tight end, Joe John Finley from Arlington, Texas. So second and short. Peterson, nice seam. Makes a miss. There he goes into the secondary. Inside the 20 and a first and goal to the 9. Saving the touchdown, it was DeAndre Jackson.
Boy, I'll tell you what, there was an excellent block by Joe John Finley in there. And there's the reaction by a proud father already in the first carry of the game, off to the races. Tight end, watch the block. Joe John Finley right there, and then the kickout block, and off to the races goes Adrian Peterson. Excellent blocking. He's not really touched until Jackson collars him from behind. And here it is, first and goal to go for the Sooners.
Now they'll line up Eldridge in the backfield. A reserve tight end in the fullback spot. In front of Adrian Peterson on first and goal. Huge wall over to the right side. Peterson down to the 5, a gain of 4. And defensively, for Iowa State, the group that is dead last in the Big 12 against the run. And overall, they haven't done that well against the pass either. Moorhead and Braxton have done a good job recently on the outside. They've got big play Curvey underneath. Banks, Bowen, and McKenzie, the 3 leading tacklers. Jackson and Singleton on the outside with Johnson and Canterberg, the big playmaker, at strong safety. Now there's the defensive coordinator, John Slodany. It has been difficult.
He wanted to eliminate the breakout runs by Adrian Peterson, and he got one right away in the first carry.
Peterson, little trap play, bouncing. Berg slowed him down. Jackson can't get him. Touchdown, Oklahoma.
Well, that's a combination of 2 things right there. Outstanding talent at the running back position, but very poor tackling by the defensive football team. Adrian Peterson bounces it outside. He gets a nice block from his lineman, and now he just has people diving at his feet. You know, you got to get your helmet across the bow and run through Adrian Peterson. You're not going to be able to arm tackle him like Jackson tried to do right there. Excellent block to get him started up front by Brandon Walker.
Garrett Hartley, perfect in the extra point department, now 20 for 20. So Adrian Peterson, already a 40-yard run, a 5-yard touchdown run, and what a way to start the day with his dad in the stands. College football Saturday on FSN is presented by Kia Sarah, the new value frontier. Also brought to you in part by Best Buy. More than just HD, it's HD done right at Best Buy. By the Honda Ridgeline, Motor Trend 2006 Truck of the Year. And by Dr. Pepper. 23 flavors that add up to one bold taste. Dr. Pepper, there's more to it. Joel Myers, Dave Lapp, Jim Knox. Classic autumn afternoon in Oklahoma. Boy, what a beautiful weekend we have had here in Norman. Basically, Norman, a suburb of... It's become that way because of the way the population has expanded in this direction, but a suburb of Oklahoma City. You're only about 20, 25 minutes from downtown Oak City. And a team that has embraced the Hornets, the NBA franchise that's played here last year, this year. It's become a real point of destination now. And Jackson's going to stay as Iowa State, as Hartley, for the second consecutive time, takes a return game right out. He's coming in, Dave.
Well, the first thing that Iowa State wanted to do is get out to a quick start, play with a lead. So much for that. That's out of the picture. They want to be balanced. Don't abandon that running game. The last couple of weeks against Texas and Nebraska, they abandoned the running game a little too quickly. They don't want to do that today. And they want to tackle, gang tackle. They don't want Adrian Peterson to have breakout runs of 40 or 50 yards. That didn't happen in the first drive. So far, the keys are not going Iowa State's way, and they're already down 7 points.
They've got Stevie Hicks in the single. And after a play fake, trouble from Meyer. He's just got to throw it away. Threw it over the head of his tight end, Walter Nickel, with the man of the neighborhood. Keys coming in for the Sooners of Oklahoma, and they want to avoid a letdown after a big game last week.
Well, yeah, they don't want any hangover of a loss against Texas. They had 11 penalties in that game. They only had 22 in the first 4 games. They had 11 penalties against Texas. They want to play a clean game. And the first penalty to start the game negated a big pass down the field. Ball security, they were -5 against Texas. They were +6 in the first 4 games, so that's an anomaly. They want to get more pressure, Joel, out of their down linemen. They've only accumulated 2 sacks in 5 games.
Our Mitsubishi keys to the game. On 2nd and 10, Hicks wrapped up early. Dropped up by Stephen Coleman, the underneath tackle, a junior out of Dallas. Dr. Pepper game break time for the first time today. Mike Goldberg, what's the latest?
Well, Joe, how about number 13 Iowa? They are in Bloomington, Indiana, taking on the Hoosiers. Game tied at 7 on a 3rd and 17. Drew Tate airs it out to the tight end, 6'7" Scott Chandler for the touchdown. Iowa leads in the second quarter, 14-7.
Yeah, the Hawkeyes getting better and better, Mike, as the season progresses. And one of the better young coaches in college football on that sideline. Meyer with time, and now dumps it off. And he did have time. He went for Summerall, but had he just stopped, the man was already behind.
Well, Lindy Holmes came on the blitz off the corner. Came off the corner, cheated into the slot, and then came unblocked. Brett Meyer was in his face. It wasn't his blind side. He read Lindy Holmes. Lindy Holmes disrupted his rhythm and timing enough where he threw the ball prematurely.
Reggie Smith once again waits for the punt. Mike Bratner, a redshirt freshman out of Bettendorf, Iowa. First one, only 31 yards. This much better. Smith takes it to the 29. Gets an initial block, and then that's about it. So he's shut down at the 35. We'll come right back. 6 minutes gone by, and already Adrian Peterson, 3 carries, 49 yards, and a Sooner touchdown. Big 12 football presented by Kyocera continues from Norman, Oklahoma. Welcome back once again. Adrian Peterson already on top of the situation. Sensational start. And comes in Dave 4th in the nation in rushing per game.
Yeah, averaging 150 yards a game. This was freshman year, 1,900 yards plus, and he was number 2 in the Heisman Trophy voting. And he had the high ankle sprain, and numbers fell a little bit, but he still was number 1 running back rushing in the Big 12. The only one that rushed for more yards last year was Brad Smith, the quarterback from Missouri, and this year he's averaging more per game than he ever has.
End around, and they'll go with Manuel Johnson. You know, the other wide receiver was trying to tie him up on the outside. It's still a plus, and they get about 4 out of it. Not a big play by any means when you try an end around or reverse like that. Brent Curvey, the guy they call Big Play, slid down the line to help out on him.
And I think that's an indication that Big Play Curvey is ready to play. You'll see him on the inside here. He comes off his block, and watch him as he stays after it. It's pretty good pursuit, pretty good hustle by a very active down lineman.
2nd and 6 for the Sooners. The ball at their own 39. And a good throw. Making a miss. Look out. There goes the wide receiver, Joaquin Iglesias, one of the sophomores we were talking about earlier. He's from Killeen, Texas. Brought down finally by John Banks, but more missed tackles.
Yeah, Iowa State better start tackling better, or this one could get extremely ugly very quickly. And now, the catch is one thing, but the yards after catch here, 3 missed tackles before the 4th defender finally takes him to the turf. Those yards after catch, yards after contact, when there are all these missed tackles, are going to accumulate quickly if Iowa State doesn't show better technique.
So throwing it, and a little gadget play on first down, not featuring Peterson. In fact, they'll go away from Peterson again. And on the outside, another missed tackle and another first down. Taken in by Malcolm Kelly. Last year's a true freshman. He was honorable mention all Big 12. That time a first down and a gain of 13.
DeAndre Jackson missed the tackle on the reception by Kelly. DeAndre Jackson missed the tackle on the touchdown run by Adrian Peterson. You can't arm tackle. You have to get your helmet across, make contact, and wrap your arms like that. That was a good tackle to finish the play. You can't just try to reach out and arm tackle. Oklahoma's athletes are too special.
It'll be Peterson stretching it. Man, they chase him down from behind. What a play by Curvey. He's a big guy, 300 pounds, 6 even. What a bounce. I mean, a guy that was first team all Big 12 last year and headed in that direction this year.
Well, he plays laterally so well, you know, and even though he's a big guy, he stays on his feet. And that's the key. You can't get cut in half. In other words, cut to the ground. If you get cut to the ground or cut off in the backside or chopped down on the front side of a play, you can't make a play when you're on the ground. Curvey is very rarely on the ground. The big man stays up on his feet and pursues well.
It'll be second and 11. Little slip screen. Once again, Johnson. There he goes inside the 20. All the way to the 13. Manuel Johnson. Sophomore from Gilmer, Texas. Brought down from behind by Tyrone McKenzie.
Well, Iglesias and Joe John Finley. Tip of the cap to those two guys. Those were the two blockers out in front. Excellent blocks to get Johnson off and running. Watch the two blocks on the perimeter that we spoke of. 1 and 2. That's outstanding effort right there. They both pick up their blocks, and a very, very easy read for Iglesias to get inside for big yards. Outstanding effort on the perimeter. Oklahoma's blocking well.
So Johnson with a gain of 19 on the catch. It'll be Peterson, short side of the field, and they slow him down early. In fact, John Banks got him, the outside strong side backer. Junior from East Moline, Illinois, and he shuts him down for a loss of a yard again.
Well, Adrian Peterson has an inspirational running style, and he gets his teammates going. You saw the lateral movement, the good feet, then he's kind of off to the races. And, you know, you can't just take a ride. Watch broken tackle, and get the speed to get inside the pylon. It's great talent, but boy, you got to tackle better than that. You can't leave your feet and lunge to try to tackle Adrian Peterson. You have to stay on your feet and run through him.
Little misdirection. Thompson, his own number. And dragged down by the linebacker. He's put down by Alvin Bowen. It's a gain, though, of about 4. Give him 5 down to the 8. So big third down for the Iowa State defense.
Offensive coordinator Kevin Wilson's been hesitant to run Thompson like that because they don't have much depth at quarterback. And if he gets injured, open up a new can of quarterbacks, and that's a tough thing. They're executing a little bit more than 50% touchdowns on their red zone opportunities. They've scored on 21 out of 23 red zone opportunities. They'd like to get that touchdown conversion ratio up a little higher, though.
Yeah, they're at 91%. They're the best in the Big 12 at getting points, but you're right. They don't want to settle for field goals. Now on third, about 6-7 over the middle. Coming back and taking it for the touchdown, Malcolm Kelly.
And you described it perfectly, Joel. You can't wait and let the defender make a play on the ball. Come back and get it. Kelly sure did.
What a start for the Sooners.
Well, you get 2 3-and-outs for the Iowa State offense. You have 2 touchdown drives by the Oklahoma offense. Great protection all day long for Thompson, and just an outstanding route and coming back to the football by Malcolm Kelly. Coverage was decent, but Kelly came back to the ball. The defender never saw the ball.
Point after. It's perfect by Hartley. A strong beginning for Bob Stoops and the Sooners. Malcolm Kelly, a 21-yard average per catch. He had to settle for 9 that time, but he'll take the score. The Sooners lead by 14. Just about 10 minutes gone by, and way too easy this early for Oklahoma. They're on top of the Cyclones. Well, this week, Fox NFL Sunday features Donovan McNabb and the Eagles taking the Saints in New Orleans. Other regional activity, it all starts with America's #1 pregame show, noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, right here on Fox. Baseball on Fox. I watched it last night. Boy, the Cardinals coming back against the Mets down early. Trailed early, tied it at 4, 6-4 down again, battled back on the triple off the wall, and then So Taguchi, our Dodge scoring drive. What a difference that was in the 9th for Tony La Russa. Out of play it goes. Good play again. Well, one of the best we deal with every year in the Big 12 is also got the longest tenure in the Big 12. 12 seasons now, and deservedly so for a guy that's their all-time winningest coach. He's really turned it around at Iowa State.
And he is just such a quality human being. There's nobody that probably presents themselves any better than Dan McCarney does as a recruiter. I mean, he comes to your kitchen table, and you're a parent of the student-athlete. He is overwhelming with his personality, and he's a special guy. Done a great job. 5 of the last 6 years he's taken the Cyclones to a bowl game. That's uncharted waters.
Now Meyer with plenty of time, and he's got Austin Flynn available with yards after the catch. Flynn was surprised. He almost stopped momentarily, Dave, as he takes it to the 43. He couldn't believe he was that wide open.
Exactly. I think he was expecting a safety to knock him around. I mean, he was trying to corral the football, make sure that he wasn't going to drop it. He's on the inside, and he finds a little seam in the zone, and now he says, where is everybody? And he just he gets his shoulder pad squared up the field, and now he's taking off. Just an excellent. Now, there's a gamer right there. Former quarterback, Austin Flynn, got beaten out by Brett Meyer, and he said, Coach, I want to play. Put him out at wide receiver, and he led the team last year with 51 catches. Just a junkyard dog type tough guy.
They got 37. Now a little dump off. Man, not much available for Jason Scales, a sophomore. West Des Moines on his first snap today, but he did get it inside the 40. We're getting about 3.5 yards. Well, the first down marker is brought to you by Overstock.com, where you'll find thousands of brand name products and savings of up to 70% every day of the week. Overstock.com.
This is what Iowa State has to do, Joel, respond. They had 2 3-and-outs, and Oklahoma jammed it down their throat for 2 touchdowns. Now they're generating first downs, moving the chains.
Slide Cook, the fullback in motion. Give it to Scales, bouncing around it. Open field tackle on the outside by Lindy Holmes, a sophomore from Dallas.
Lindy Holmes has flashed in this football game a couple of times. He's the blitzer that came off the edge and Brett Meyer's face that made him get out of rhythm and throw the football early. And here he shows up as Scales tries to bounce it. Lindy Holmes says, He just takes his body right through Scales' legs and takes him to the turf.
So a huge third down for Dan McCarney and his squad when you're down by 14. It's a big one, especially in plus territory. 3rd and 7. Sooners 40. Pocket holds up for Meyer. He'll take off. Will he get there? No, just short.
Got to go for it.
Without a doubt. It's a yard shy. Clipped on the back of his heels by IU, the defensive end, defensive MVP of last year's Holiday Bowl in the Sooners' victory.
Good effort, good hustle by IU, because if he doesn't hustle, it is a first down. But he retraced his steps after he couldn't get there on the pass rush. Oklahoma rushed 4 and dropped 7. There was nobody down the football field for Meyer to throw it to. He tucked it and went.
Well, they go with a stack formation, full back and 2 tight ends. But boy, when I put Meyer out on the edge and let him run for it. Instead, Scales, they listen to me, don't they? Pounds it straight ahead, and he's got the first down to the 31. So Barney Cotton, fortunately, their offensive coordinator, does not have an audio feed of our telecast.
Well, I think what he wanted to do is Oklahoma's defensive tackles have struggled a little bit. So he said, you know what, you big boys up front inside. And there's Barney Cotton, the offensive coordinator, former lineman himself, former teammate of mine with the Bengals. He said, my center and guards, let me see what you got. Going to lead the fullback up in there for a little ISO and see if we're man enough to make 4th and less than a yard. And Iowa State responded.
Good job. Middle of the line. They just pounded it. Meyer out of the gun. And they'll run the gun most of the time. They pick up the pressure. Nice. Perfect throw. Blythe is there. Touchdown, Iowa State. Almost deflected by the D-back. Didn't get there in time, though. And it was a safety, Reggie Smith.
Yep, Reggie Smith, who's the best cover guy that Oklahoma has. The scheme was the thing that won the battle. Todd Blythe averaging over 19 yards a catch. That's his 7th touchdown reception. And Brent Venables talking to his secondary about the lack of coverage. Nick Harris, one of the safeties. Todd Blythe is a playmaker. And the playmaker stepped up and made a huge play. His 7th reception of the season. Touchdown reception.
In for the point after. Brett Culbertson. Brand new ball game. So they did answer. You said you've got to respond?
Yep.
They did. It started with that pass to Austin Flynn, an 80-yard drive.
And the 4.5 yards was big. And right after that, run a little misdirection, little counteraction. Brett Meyer sees the opportunity down the football field. How does my 6'5" wideout, Todd Blythe, get that open? Didn't even have to really, it wasn't a contested catch. It was just a wide open in a zone coverage. Todd Blythe wins.
Well, Oklahoma in the past has been very stingy in giving up points, but Dave, they're in the bottom third of the Big 12 this year, giving up an average of 20 points a game, and that stood out when we got ready this week for this game. usually they're one of the best in the nation at eliminating scores.
No doubt about it. 6 plays, 80 yards is just what the doctor ordered. 31-yard touchdown catch by Blythe. He and Meyer have now hooked up 22 times. That's the most in Iowa State history by quarterback-wide receiver tandem, and they're roommates and best friends. So, they've got chemistry. They've got chemistry on the field. They've got chemistry off the field. They understand each other oh so well, and Dan McCarney is happy to have both of those guys in his program at quarterback and wideout, 2 playmakers.
Yeah, Todd Blythe.
That's his overall. Overall, he's got 25
in his career.
Right, 22 from Meyer, 25 overall.
And that's among active receivers.
Right.
Dwayne Jarrett of USC on top by 7 over Blythe going into the weekend. Joaquin Iglesias, Reggie Smith waiting for the kick from Culbertson. Iglesias over to the far side. As the ball, and the wind is whipping into the face of the Blaze kicker, Culbertson.
Now, it's always about adjustments and then adjustments to adjustments. What will Oklahoma do defensively to adjust to what Iowa State presented on that 6-play, 80-yard drive? And will Oklahoma's offense be able to continue to drive, or will Iowa State's defense adjust?
And it's actually Josh Greenbaum who is going to kick it away, not Culbertson. It's over to the far side. Iglesias from the 20. Almost like you called a fair catch. Now he gets a block on the sideline. Good field position all the way out to the 40. So Oklahoma's had great field position for all 3 of their drives. And, well, Sports Ultimate Nightly Highlight Show, it's here. Hopefully you've checked it out already. FSN Final Score. Every great highlight. Unforgettable moments every night on FSN. Only national show that gives you nothing but wall-to-wall highlights. FSN Final Score. Every night only on FSN.
On that touchdown catch that Blythe had, Reggie Smith looked like he was the guy at fault. Yeah. Maybe Nick Harris was supposed to be giving him some help over the top. You just don't know exactly what the coverage was. And Kevin Wilson, the offensive coordinator for Oklahoma, is in a rhythm right now.
Paul Thompson has a drop by Iglesias. It was forward. That's his first miss. He was 5 for 5 at the last drive. You saw those numbers. Time for a Dr. Pepper game break. Back to the studio. Mike Goldberg.
Hey, Joe, we talked on the kickoff show. Who should be number 2? USC or Florida? Well, why not West Virginia to Morgantown? Up 10-7 over Syracuse. Pat White already got his, so it's Steve Slayton's turn. 52 yards for the score. Mountaineers, well on their way to being 6-0.
Boy, they got some team speed, Mike. Those guys can fly.
A lot of people feel they're the best team in the country right now as Peterson shut down on 2nd and 10, a yard and a half. How could he do that to the Orangemen of Syracuse, your alma mater, as we head downstairs to Jim Knox? Noxie?
All right, Joe, Barney Cotton right now huddled his offensive unit around, talking to Brett Meyer, also talking to that offensive line, saying, are we on track now, guys? Are we on track? I think everybody's had agreement down here. They are on track. They're feeling good on offense.
They were balanced on that drive, Noxie. They ran it when they had to, and they threw the ball well, and that's what they want to do. Don't abandon that running game and stay balanced.
Now a 3rd and 9. Is Oklahoma going to waste a great field position to start this drive? Pocket holds up for Thompson. Shallow cross. Kelly's got the first down across the midfield stripe. He's a big guy. 6'4", 220. We talk about Blythe at 6'5", over 200 pounds. This kid is large. He's got 12 on that catch.
He is, and it's just a shallow cross. And he presents himself as a monstrous target for Thompson, and there's nobody around him. I mean, how can these big receivers that you're not going to lose track of, 6'4" and 6'5", be running just uncontested on a shallow cross or down the sideline for a touchdown in Blythe's case? You have to tighten it up with respect to your assignments and your execution.
In the eye, Peterson. Behind Clapp. Adrian find a little daylight that time. Inside the 45, down to the 44. And that is going to do it for the first 15 minutes of play. So a nice bounce back over the final 5 minutes on a long drive by Iowa State, because it looked like it was going to be ugly early. It was real positive for that guy early, though. He had 49 yards on his first 3 carries. They've slowed him down significantly ever since, though. Credit to the Iowa State Cyclone defensive unit. End of the first, Iowa State battling back, trailing the Sooners by only 7. You're watching Big 12 football, presented by Kyocera on FSN. Kyocera continues from Norman, Oklahoma. Boy, the high blue sky, wispy clouds in the background. We couldn't ask for a better situation. It is beautiful autumn weather.
I like that. Wispy cloud. Very descriptive.
Joel Myers, Dave Latin, and Jim Knox back in Norman. One of our favorite places for college football. This is just a sweet setting. Now, a second and short, or second and long rather, coming up for the Sooners. Peterson with a lane, popping one of his blockers. He's going to be shy of the first down by a couple. That's a good run, though, because he only had 2 yards over his last 4 carries, so Iowa State picking it up defensively. That was good for 5 before he shut down by McKenzie.
And that's what Adrian Peterson is doing a little bit better in this year as opposed to his first couple. Bob Stoops said that he would always try to break one the distance. Now, if there's a 2-yard run, he turns it into a 5 by lowering his pads and finishing and pushing the pile. And he's very, very consistent. John Scadaney knows that he's up against a buzzsaw today because he got a great running back that's on a high with his dad being around watching the game.
Thompson, and what a throw and what a grab. They get the first down to Joe John Finley. It had to be a perfect throw because it wasn't bad coverage. Had to throw it to the sideline, Dave, and it was a bullet.
Well, Joe John Finley, another guy, 6'6". I mean, there are some big, tall targets out here for the quarterbacks to throw to. Little play action freezes the linebackers just enough, and there's nobody underneath. Just cannot quite make the play. The coverage is decent by Jason Harris, but not quite good enough.
This young man has put on 40 pounds
yes, sir.
since he arrived
good
here in Norman.
Table. Good training table.
You've never been a training table you didn't like.
I'll tell you what, Jerry Schmidt, the strength coach, done a great job with him.
Peterson, good push, and he still got yards out of it. Purvey had taken the man that was trying to block him about 4 yards into the backfield. Dave, I mean, you can't do much more as an underneath tackle. Still, Peterson got some yards.
Yeah, there wasn't enough support for Purvey. You know, Purvey, defenses are designed to either funnel the play back inside or spill it to the outside. Purvey just blew the line up and knocked it backwards, and Peterson, basically his own abilities and creativity made something out of nothing there.
He used that lineman like a blocking sled. 9 for 59 for Peterson.
That's tough when it's happening to you.
It's an offensive lineman letting you know. And what a great tackle by Tyrone McKenzie. Adrian Peterson from top to bottom is so strong. When you get it by yourself like that, laterally, that's an accomplishment.
Well, McKenzie is one of the linebackers for Iowa State that is involved in a lot of plays. And Iowa State's linebackers are the top 3 tacklers in the Big 12, and that's a good tackle right there. Their contact ratio, that's the number of hits, either total unassisted tackle or assisted tackle, to the snaps that are being run are phenomenal. And their numbers are staggering, and Adrian Peterson, he's broken some tackles early in the game, but Iowa State's starting to tackle a little bit better.
Big 3rd and 8 for the Cyclone defensive unit. Only a 3-man rush, so plenty of time for Thompson. And it should have been intercepted. Should have been picked off. Right into the hands of Brown, the defensive back, the sophomore from Gainesville, Texas. Right to him.
Yeah, it was. It was almost got upon him before he realized it. And it shouldn't have been the case, because it's bracket coverage. It had safety underneath and corner over the top. And they did a nice job in bracketing him. Jackson and Chris Brown.
Garrett Hartley, longest has been 44 yards. This is going to be a 46-yard attempt. Out of the hold of McEacher. For a 10-point lead. Little punch shot.
Nice.
And it works. So Hartley with his longest of the season, a 46-yarder. And it's now a 17-7 lead for the Sooners. Garrett Hartley with a 46-yard field goal. And Oklahoma 3 for 3. 3 scores, 3 possessions. Lead it by 10. Well, it's been 15 years since the Cyclones have knocked off the Sooners. Came right here in Norman at Memorial Stadium. 7 yards. Williams on that one. Sherman Williams, because they were down 31-20. And they closed the gap to 31-26. Chris Peterson with a sneak late.
Oh, did he get in?
Just got it across, then broke the plane. You still want review, don't you?
Yeah,
he broke the Sooners' 28-game winning streak against the Cyclones. Jim Walden, he thought he was back in the Palouse. It was so good. Well, and in the overall series, a little one-sided, just a little. 33-3-1 here in Norman. Overall, 65-5-2.
Ugh.
That's domination.
Yes, it is. That's one-sided, to say the least.
It'll be Jackson bringing it back. And Jackson with a line is popped big time. Oh, wait a minute. You don't have to do a number on the poor kid.
Patrick.
Yes, Alan Patrick. He's a running back, so he's getting his money's worth. Junior out of Conway, South Carolina for the Sooners.
Boy, this is picture perfect. This is a tackle. Get your helmet under the chin and boom, put the pop on. And man, he's saying, you know what, this has happened to me when I played running back, so I know what it feels like. I'm going to deliver.
Watch number 11 down low to set him up. Lendy Holmes did help out.
Oh yeah, he helped out, but he didn't even see Lendy Holmes. He was just going for the aiming point, and unfortunately, still down after that hit at the 23-yard line. And right now, you just want to make sure. I'm imagining that he may have his chin split a little bit and make sure that he's got all his teeth, because that was a shot.
Take a timeout. Yeah, and hopefully that young man is okay.
Ooh, man.
DeAndre Jackson.
Ooh.
10-point lead for the Sooners. On the Iowa State Cyclone sideline, they continue to look at DeAndre Jackson, their cornerback, and that's a big blow. He's their starting defensive back and one of their best cover guys.
He's the best. I mean, he's regarded highly as one of the best in the conference. Lendy Holmes right there on the knee, the right knee, as he gets hit up top. Lendy Holmes kind of grabs that right knee a little bit as he comes across and kind of bends it, and then being hit up top, Alan Patrick forces him back over his leg a little more than he would have.
Stevie Hicks being hauled up the middle and lugs his way off balance to close to a first down. I think he's got it. Now, gain of 10 as we check in with Jim Knox. Knoxy.
Joel, it doesn't look like DeAndre's in a great deal of pain right now. The trainers are looking at his right knee, right below his right knee. He could come back. He doesn't look like he's in a great deal of pain. If he comes back, that would be a big plus, just like Big Dave said.
You know, I think, Knoxy, that he got his foot off the turf. He didn't have his foot planted when he was hit. And once you get your foot off the turf, there's some give there. And hopefully that's exactly what took place. And Alan Patrick, I know, hopes that he's okay to play as well. You don't want anybody hurt in this game, any game.
It is a first down. Hicks will get it again. They watch on the left side. He cuts it back against the grain. Gain of 4 out to the 38. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Well, Barney Cotton is staying true to his word. Down 2 scores, 10 points. He's not abandoning the running game. He said, you know, I haven't let Stevie Hicks get into a rhythm, and it's my fault. Stevie Hicks is going to be big for us against Oklahoma. We're going to stay with the run. We're not going to abandon the run. When we abandon the run, there goes our play action. There goes our quarterback movement plays. We're going to hammer the football. And he has confidence that his interior guys can handle Oklahoma interior guys defensively. That's where the battle, right up between the tackles.
Well, last week against Nebraska, only 53 yards rushing for Iowa State on 24 tries. In trouble, Meyer is on his way down. Here's the linebacker, and making the safety, Darian Williams, who held on around the ankle and got him, the junior from Mesquite, Texas.
And he beat the best blitz pickup guy that Iowa State has. That's Stevie Hicks. Stevie Hicks right here is his protector. The blitz will come, and Stevie Hicks will step up and pick up that blitzer, but he doesn't get the edge wide enough. And Brett Meyer, because there's no place for him to step up, tries to outrun the blitzer, and that's very tough to do because you got Darian Williams, as you described, Joel, who's a defensive back.
Well, and you saw that graphic. Oklahoma just not getting pressure on the quarterback this year. It's a rarity, a sack this year. Jailbreak, screen the other way with Hicks, and they can't exploit the blitz from the opposite side. Boy, it was available too, Dave. Burdine got over there. Larry Burdine, actually, the senior from Lawton, Oklahoma, for a loss.
Well, when you're off schedule like Iowa State was, Oklahoma knows draw and screen are 2 options that will be available. And Oklahoma's defense was true to the task there. You can't get off schedule as big as Iowa State did with that quarterback sack.
Brandner came into the game with a 40-yard average. Reggie Smith waiting back at the Sooners 35. Low line drive. It'll be returned from the 31. No, it won't. Took himself right out of that one. He can't believe it either. Reggie, hold on.
Unassisted tackle by the 31-yard line.
So we'll see if the Sooners can score and make it 4 for 4.
You're watching FSN Southwest.
Goldberg, DeMarco Farr, Billy Ray Smith getting set for the halftime report. We should talk about Adrian Peterson like all day long.
I got a new name.
It's all over the place. Best backfield in the country, West Virginia, getting stressed out by Syracuse right now.
A little trouble with the orange. Dave Lapham's orange, that would be Joe Myers.
Let's go, Saltine Warriors, Onondaga Indians.
An old friend of ours, Greg Robinson, the head coach, who I've known for a long, long time. Way back to his UCLA days in the 80s with Terry Donahue. Now, the elusiveness of Thompson. That's no sack, it's no gain, and now they will say it's a sack. It's a loss of a yard.
Well, the reason that it happened is Big Play Curvey was the disruptor, and Rubin finished it up. Curvey was the penetrator and disruptor and made Thompson step up.
Ataba Rubin, transfer, a junior from Pensacola. Out there, Braxman's played well over the last couple of games as well. So let's see now if they can force a 3 and out for the first time today.
Rubin's getting in shape. He missed all the two-a-days.
Peterson. And the linebacker came up to get him on the outside. Alvin Bowen. He got the kick out, but not much available. Only a couple of yards on the carry. So they've done a good job since that first series of containing Adrian Peterson.
Coming into today's game, I was looking at the stats defensively for Iowa State, and I saw they had given up 75% completion percentage in the passing game. And I was like, that's got to be impossible. John Skladany, 11 touchdowns they've given up coming into today's game. They gave up their 12th. A lot of crossing patterns, a lot of shallow crosses, and crossing patterns have been their problem to try to defend.
Now on third down, out is available. Manuel Johnson's got the first down. He's just beyond the marker. He needed to go to the 41-42, and he did exactly that.
Well, third and long, you got to get off the football field. The pressure, the blitz, the pressure doesn't get there. Oklahoma's offensive line sorts it out. Too much cushion, and the cushion is taken advantage of by Manuel Johnson. You got to get up a little bit tighter. And as we said, DeAndre Jackson not being out there on the football field is a major blow. The best cover guy Iowa State has.
But now it's a first down at the 42 of the Sooners. Deep drop after the Peterson play fake. Man, tough catch. Finley almost made it though. Well, it was a good throw. John Finley right there, but barely deflected away at the last second.
Finley gets up limping a little bit as he jogs back to the huddle. He's got Banks. He's got linebacker on tight end, but linebacker, former safety. So it's a decent matchup. Safety on tight end. And was there early contact? And was the catch almost made anyway, but Thompson's got a nice throw now. I mean, that ball was extremely accurate. He's 8 for 11 on the day. As I said, Iowa State giving up 75% completion percentage on the season coming in.
Now Thompson selling the fake again. He's got all day. Just gets it back to the line and maybe a yard or two. That's a great job defensively downfield because he had plenty of time to survey and go through his progressions.
Well, they rushed 4 and dropped 7, and he had nowhere to go. Coverage was pretty good. I mean, the coverage, everybody did a good job of plastering their guys down the football field. John Skladany's trying to mix it up, you know, against any quarterback. To get a quarterback like Meyer or Thompson out of rhythm, you can't do the same thing all the time. You have to rush 4, drop 7, then blitz and give different looks. You got to get them out of rhythm.
Another key third down. Can Iowa State get the stop? Third and a little more than 8. Here comes the pressure, and they do get to Thompson. It was Big Play Curvey, a first-teamer last year in the conference, and boy, has he been an impact player early today.
Well, that's his 5th and a half sack. He had 5.5 coming in, 5th in the Big 12, and he gets one today. And this was a 4-man rush. I mean, this is just him making a play. He wins at the line of scrimmage with an upfield move, very explosive, and gets to Thompson. That is a good football player, and he showed it right there. Little swat to the shoulder pad and get upfield.
Second to the Big 12 as Baum waits. They almost got the punt. He is second to the Big 12, 8th in the nation, 18-yard average, but a very good punt by Michael Cohen, the junior from Houston. Good hang time. The sack, though, the difference.
Information that should be carefully read and considered before investing.
College football Saturday on FSN, presented by Cell Phone Karma. It's real, so remember etiquette tip number 9. When dining out, let your voicemail do the talk. Kia Sarah Wireless reminds you to please dial responsibly. Also brought to you in part by Dr. Pepper. 23 flavors that add up to one bold taste. Dr. Pepper, there's more to it. And by Overstock.com. Search, shop, and save up to 70% at Overstock.com. Joel Myers, Dave Lapham, and Jim Knox back in Norman, Oklahoma. Picture perfect setting. Boy, you want to recruit? Bring him here today.
Telling you.
From the 25, Stevie Hicks says, well, I feel like Stevie Nicks. Why'd you give it to me on that play? He's dropped back at the 20.
And the Cyclones came out in their 2 tight end formation, said, we're going to mash you, we're going to muscle you. And Oklahoma said, nah, we're going to hit a gap. We're going to one gap penetrate, disrupt. Did they ever? Lindy Holmes involved in that play.
Set over. Check in with Jim. Noxie.
Thank you, Joel. Don't forget, college football fans, you can email us throughout today's game. We'll try to answer those emails in the second half. That's asknox@sbcglobal.net. That's asknox@sbcglobal.net.
How does he hear himself? He's always in a crowd.
He draws a crowd.
Moving the pocket. Brett Meyer bringing it back. And he's got his big man, Blythe, making plays downfield to the 36, and he's got the first down by a yard.
Blythe is a very deceptive speed guy with that long stride. Once you get that stretched out, he can get it done. And he's going to run a little crossing pattern himself, a little pivot route, and then take it back to the middle of the football field. Nice job by Blythe. And you know, Meyer has 3 different receivers that have caught at least 24 passes coming into today's game. He's got 5 different receivers that have had a catch of 30 yards or more. So he's finding everybody.
Brett Meyer, all-time passing yardage leader, completion leader, and throwing once again or willing. He'll run for it. Good decision. Good yardage. He takes a pop downfield from Reggie Smith, the strong safety, and gets about 9. So Brett Meyer, Jr. with so much experience out of Atlantic, Iowa, making a good decision there. We talked with Dan McCarney about his quarterback.
He's got a great air about him. He elevates the play of those around him. He's an unselfish guy. We're all looking for tenacious, selfless competitors, and he's one of those. And yet there isn't a person in the country that wouldn't enjoy having him in their home to have Brett Meyer be around him and around their family, just that type of young man.
That's the best part of it. Yeah, that's the best part of it. When he tagged it with that and we heard that, you know, a kid that is just a quality individual. He's a great teammate. He's a great player, but haven't invited him over to dinner because you'd want him to be around your family.
Exactly. I mean, just a credit to the school, to the program. He's going to be a success in whatever he does. And, you know, I know he hopes he plays quarterback in the National Football League, but Coach Mack is of the opinion, like most coaches, don't know what you have in a guy until about 10, 15 years out. And back come the lawyers and the doctors and everybody else that you help influence as young men.
Yeah, it's going to be a timeout for Meyer and the Cyclones with 4:31 to play. And it's interesting. Dan McCarney, when the Cyclones got off the bus yesterday, and we'll talk about that when we come back. Interesting matchup with 2 coaches that really appreciate each other. We'll talk about it. But first, time for a Dr. Pepper game break and Mike Goldberg. Mike.
Hey, Joel, from the Big 12 to the ACC, where NC State is unbeaten in conference play. They're 2-0. How long will that last? Wake Forest hopes not any longer than today. Riley Skinner avoids the onslaught of would-be sackmen. And then some yards after the catch for Nate Morton, 57 yards to the score. Demon Deacons lead 22-14. Demon Deacons coming off their first loss to Clemson.
All right, Mike. Well, when they arrived yesterday, the Cyclones of Iowa State, Dan McCarney gets off the bus and somebody hollers at him, "Stoopsy!"
No, well, Dan
hollers at Bob.
Bob came out.
Somebody comes running over to the bus,
right? And
it's Dan McCarney hollering, "Stoopsy!"
Yep.
Now, these 2 guys go back a little bit, well, and boy, are they close.
Well, they come out of the Hayden Fry coaching tree, and there's Coach McCarney, who was an assistant coach on that staff, and there's the graduate assistant that year, Bob Stoops, fresh off an outstanding career as a safety at the University of Iowa.
And Dave, he also coached him as a player there.
Oh, absolutely. And, well, Dan was a defensive line coach, and Bob was a safety, and just Dan's got nothing but respect for Bob Stoops as a player, coach, and human being, and the same for Bob Stoops the other way. And Dan McCarney said Bob Stoops was a big-time hitter. When he hit you at safety, you knew you'd been hit.
And it goes beyond the field of play. It extends all the way to family and extended family. That's how close. Now Hicks. No, it'll be Brett Meyer up at the play fake. It should have been Hicks. So great play. Nick Harris out of the secondary. Their nickelback. Sophomore from Alexandria, Louisiana, in the open field on the play.
He's built like a rangy linebacker, and Todd Blythe is the guy that doesn't get him taken care of, and that's the flying Todd Blythe's ointment. He has to improve his blocking. He just doesn't take a very good approach. And honestly, it was a well recognized by Nick Harris. He responded so quickly. Todd Blythe's angle was poor. Harris's recognition was outstanding. And that equaled tackle for loss.
So it's going to be second and just about 17. Meyer again in trouble, trying to make the most of a bad situation, and got past the line up to the 42. Well, not a lot of sacks, dead last of the Big 12, but they are getting pressure on the quarterback.
And the sack that they got today was out of the secondary, so they've now got 2 sacks from the down linemen, 4 from the linebackers, and 3 from the linebackers and 2 from the secondary. They've only got 2 sacks out of their down linemen. And last year, the defensive end, Burdine and IU combined for 17. Burdine had 10, IU had 7. They've got none this year out of those 2 defensive ends.
That's defensive coordinator Brent Venable on the sideline. Movement up front, and
now did IU get pulled or did he jump?
It was a false start on the offense.
IU came up with a little
69 on the offense. 5 yards, 3rd down.
Because IU, the defensive end, had slipped inside. He was over the center.
Yeah, he came. Here's where the jump takes place, here on the left side. Like, where is the jump? I didn't really see it, to be honest. I didn't really see Fisher jumping that much. Thought IU got in the neutral zone before anybody from Iowa State moved, but whatever.
Now on 3rd and very long. Plenty of time. Man, low and out of the hands of Austin Flynn. It wasn't going to be enough for the first down anyway, so a punt coming up for the Cyclones. 2 1/4 left in the half. And still Oklahoma with all 3 of their timeouts remaining.
The thing that the Oklahoma defense has done after the first 2 drives, I think adjusted to the speed of the game a little bit better. They were missing tackles because they were taking poor angles. I think Adrian Peterson's speed and the speed of Oklahoma stunned them a little bit.
Reggie Smith will take it deep in his own territory inside the 10. And got it back to the 15, but what a punt that time by Mike Brent from Iowa State. That was sensational. Set him up with a long field of 85 yards, 56 yards. Well, be sure to watch the official BCS ratings show, all presented by KFC Famous Chicken Bowls each Sunday night at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. And looking at this year's BCS schedule. Fiesta, Rose, Orange, Sugar, and then the championship game on the 8th. 5 days to get ready for the big one. And who's it going to be this year? Mike Goldberg and the guys in the studio just talking about West Virginia against Syracuse today. Who should be? Right behind Ohio State. Peterson in the dump off, breaking the tackle. Look out. He's got it across the 30. But he should have been dropped for little or no gain. As finally, Raxman got him from behind.
Yeah, well, the missed tackle came from Chris Singleton in the secondary, and he read it well. And it's a screen to Adrian Peterson, and Chris Singleton's right there and takes a poor angle. You got to get your head in front. You can't get your head behind Adrian Peterson. He'll run through those arm tackles.
Looking Peterson's way again. And that time, Banks did not make a mistake. Strong side backer. It's a loss on the play of a yard and a half. And Oklahoma is going to use their first time out of the half. Yeah, the first down marker is brought to you this afternoon by Overstock.com. With the order of big screen TV or a comfy leather chair, it all ships for only $2.95. Shop and save at Overstock.com. So 92 seconds left in the half. Oklahoma with the ball and a 10-point lead. Well, Adrian Peterson, when we were talking about Brett Meyer, let's not forget the young man from Palestine, Texas, Adrian Peterson. He is only a junior as well, Dave.
And he is just a phenomenal, all the records and the accomplishments that he's racked up in his career, brief as it is at this point in time, is just mind-boggling.
And he will, as we said at the top of the telecast, he only needs 3:33 to overtake Billy Sims for the all-time rushing leadership here
That's
at
a given.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And they've had so many good running backs. And you look at what he's done with 100-yard games and everything else, just a couple behind Steve Owens coming in. We can go down the list.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing what he's already done, and he's only a junior.
And he learned from that man right there. There's the dad in the stands, and Adrian Peterson. You add his numbers, he's approaching 3,900 yards rushing now. He's well over 3,800 yards. So he's got 3,846 yards on the day. And closing in on Quentin Griffin, everybody is within his range. Before this season's over, Adrian Peterson will be the all-time leading rusher. You can mark that down.
So you see his numbers so far, and take into consideration he's fourth in the nation, coming in averaging 150 a game. It'll be a second, man, just about 11. Finley, the tight end, the motion man. They bring the blitz, and they go the screen with Peterson. Peterson breaking into the open field. Caleb finally gets to him. And that is Caleb Berg, the strong safety, and slowed him down. Otherwise, he's coming back the other way, and there's a lot of space.
Well, Peterson, he's carried the ball almost 76% of the rushing snaps, and this is another way to get the ball in his hands. You run the screen, and the big boys out in front getting blocks and miss tackles again. Once you miss a tackle on Adrian Peterson, you let him get full speed like Chris Lofton did, it's trouble.
Slip screen to the wide receiver, and Johnson doesn't get much out of it. Better tackle by Bowen. Daniel Johnson.
What Iowa State has to do here is limit this to nothing more than a field goal opportunity. If Iowa State allows Oklahoma to score a touchdown in the final minute of the first half, that'll be a momentum builder for them and a deflator for Iowa State.
You mean like last week against Nebraska
exactly.
with 3 seconds left in the half. There's Finley, too wide open, down to the 14-yard line. They still have 2 timeouts on the board. And will they stop it? And stop it for a while. It'll stop for the movement of the chains. Gain of 19.
Caleb Berg and Alvin Bowen kind of ran into each other and knocked each other off of that tackle. And here they are in the red zone once again, the Sooners.
50 seconds left in the half with the ball inside the 15. Thompson, too much time again, and a touchdown to Malcolm Kelly.
Chris Singleton in coverage. And the rules are simple at that spot of the football field. You cannot let a receiver get inside position on you. And that's exactly what Malcolm Kelly was able to do against Chris Singleton. Got inside of him on the route, and Thompson threw a strike. And how big is it losing DeAndre Jackson, their best cover corner, on that kickoff return?
Hartley for the point after. So once again, Oklahoma, like Nebraska did last week, burns Iowa State into the locker room. Final minute of play, and for the second straight Saturday, they give up a touchdown on our Dodge scoring drive. Only 93 seconds taken off the clock. So Malcolm Kelly with his second touchdown reception of the day. He had a 9-yarder. This one good for 14, 15 yards. Well, looking back, 2003, Oklahoma Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Jason White, one of his best games as a Sooner. The matchup in Ames in 2003, he threw 5 touchdown passes. Sooners, 53-7. He threw 40 scores that year. That is also a Sooner record. Mark Clayton, he had some targets, didn't he?
He sure did. He had targets, and he had a big heart. His downfield accuracy, as you can see on a lot of these throws, was simply outstanding. And what happened to Jason White is he lost his knees. I mean, he tore ligaments in both of his knees, and that basically ended his opportunity to play in the National Football League. The limited mobility that he had. A great college player, obviously, at the quarterback position. Heisman Trophy winner. And Bob Stoops was talking earlier in the week. They'd go 5 games without a turnover, without a giveaway, with Jason White at the helm. The guy was all about ball security and never putting his team in jeopardy, and Bob Stoops loved Jason White at quarterback.
Yeah, Austin Flynn is going to be back there now. Normally we'd see DeAndre Jackson, but he is on the sideline. He's over there along with Drenard Williams, and it is going to be Williams bringing it back, and not for much. close to the 20, and that is it. Well, Bob Stoops and the staff told us that they were really pleased with the play of Paul Thompson so far this season, a guy that just got the job early August because of the release of Rhett Bomar. So here is Thompson, who's, well, a wide receiver last year, Dave. Right. Talk about an adjustment. He's already 14 of 17 today, 186 yards with a couple of touchdowns. He does look composed back there.
Well, he was coached by Chuck Long, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback himself. He saw Jason White execute the offense. He's gone from quarterback to receiver back to quarterback. He knows what the receivers are thinking. He knows what the quarterbacks are thinking, and Thompson's executing.
Hicks on first down. Reading him into the secondary. Needs a block from Blight downfield. Big yardage for Stevie Hicks. Taking it back inside the 30. And finally, it'll be Lendy Holmes forcing him out of bounds. And that is the end of the half, unfortunately, for Iowa State. What a bad break for the Cyclones.
Boy, could not quite get out of bounds before the clock expired because they were in field goal range for Culbertson.
But Dan McCarney is saying you got to look at it because he got out of bounds with a second left, or even two. They'll discuss it.
John Bible, the referee today, has been around a while.
It's a 57-yard run.
Too late. Dan McCarney saying
a second is all he needs for a field goal try.
Does everybody agree that that clock expired? Because the on-field official is keeping the time as well as the scoreboard. There's a checks and balances there. And is John Bible going to go have this reviewed?
He is going to be talking with the booth review, the replay official. It's a very tough call. And he's going to say that's it.
Over. Yep.
So it is halftime. And a little bit too late for Iowa State. 57-yard run by number 27, Stevie Hicks. But he couldn't get out of bounds. And it's not like he's looking at the clock when he's making that run.
Exactly. He couldn't look at the clock and watch defenders at the same time. But once he makes he makes somebody miss and he gets out into the secondary and he made Nick Harris miss. Now Blythe is doing a good job downfield and he's trying to get every last inch that he can, but runs out of time.
Let's head downstairs. Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Joel. Coach, a little wild ending here to the first half. What was going on, you think?
Well, obviously didn't play the run well enough. We let them bend the ball back. Our defensive end gets cut off and gives them a seam.
Now, let me ask you this. Your offense, though, you have to be pleased. You got the momentum going into halftime right now, scoring late in the final 2 minutes. Close to 300 yards of total offense.
We're really, Paul's done a great job throwing the football. AD's running it good. I still feel we need to run it better. Hopefully we get that going in the second half. And we got to play better run defense. That shouldn't happen.
All right, thank you, Coach. Joel?
All right. We always like Bob's honesty. He's not happy with that last play.
Gives
Our
us something to talk
score,
about.
24-7 Sooners. Let's.
Today, it's a Big 12 North.
Halftime continues in Norman, Oklahoma. In fact, the Big 12 opener at home for Oklahoma. Sooners on top of the Cyclones at the break by 17, 24-7. Welcome back once again. Joel Myers along with Dave Lapham and Jim Knox. Ironic the way things work. It's been a solid first half for Adrian Peterson.
No doubt.
His dad watching him for the first time in 9 years. But it has been Paul Thompson and the passing attack that has really hurt the Cyclones.
It has. I mean, it's been balanced. And really, Adrian Peterson was one of Paul Thompson's weapons in the first half. We're going to show Adrian Peterson on the ground as we know him. 11 carries for 61 yards. This was the biggest. This was big time. Broken tackles, missed tackles, speed to the edge is all about Adrian Peterson. This is one of his 3 receptions. He had 3 catches for another 45 yards. So Adrian Peterson in the first half, 14 touches, 106 yards, and a touchdown. Statistically, Iowa State has to convert on third down. They're 0 for 5. Oklahoma is 2 out of every 3, 4 for 6. Both teams effective, efficient, 7 yards, 7.5 yards per play. But Iowa State has to move the chains and do a better job on third down, stay on the field, and try to play keep away offensively against that Sooner offense and keep Adrian Peterson off the field.
And once again, that stat at the bottom, time of possession means a whole lot. It was almost identical. Boy, is that ever misleading? First half leaders for the Sooners. Thompson couldn't ask for much more. What a quarterback rating in the first 30 minutes of play for the former wide receiver. Guy that was a quarterback, then a wide receiver. Now, Oklahoma's going to have it to start the second half. It'll be over the head of Reggie Smith. And the Sooners are going to have it first and 10 at their own 20. Let's take a look at their 5 first half possessions. First 3, they couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, they only punted 1 time, and they score 3 touchdowns and a field goal on the other possessions. An 8-play drive, a 10-play drive. 7 plays they have to punt the football, but they go 85, 65 yards. Did a good job of mixing it up and controlling tempo, and as you mentioned, Thompson completed a high percentage of his passes, but Iowa State defensively coming in, allowing 75% completion on the year.
Peterson, toss sweep. First time we've seen that today, Dave. Took a while, didn't it? 6 on first down, almost 7 for Adrian Peterson. Put down by Ruben, and our Mitsubishi keys to the game coming in.
Well, it's been working well. The only penalty they had was the first play of the game, negating a big play, a 39-yard reception. They have done a great job of ball security, no giveaways. They only have that 1 sack, though, and it hasn't come from the down lineman. It came from a member of the secondary, so they're not getting significant enough pressure yet from their down lineman, their front 4.
Thompson on 2nd and 4, and Peterson makes a miss again. Adjusting, what balance! He's got it for a first down to the 35. Boy, put the hand down and kept on going. Finally caught up by Steve Johnson.
Well, this is a signature run for Adrian Peterson right here to show what he's all about, his competitiveness. Make you miss. That's the leading tackler. Make Berg miss. Bowen misses. Berg misses. He puts that left arm down, as you mentioned, Joel. Rights his balance. And his dad says, that's what my son's all about. That's what I taught him at a young age. He knew he was special early on. Had to have.
All day, every play. That's Adrian Peterson. Bangs it for very little that time. Up to the 37. It'll bring up 2nd and 8. Talked and met with Adrian yesterday, and he talked about how much it would mean to him to play in front of his dad for the first time in 9 years.
Finally, he's able to come, watch me play, college ball. So, I'll be very excited, be emotional, but when all about balls down to it, you got to handle business.
Very matter of fact in our meeting yesterday, wasn't he?
And he is handling business. He understands.
It's a 2nd and long. Thompson. And first bad throw. He was looking for Joaquin Iglesias. That's the first one that really got away from him on that out.
Well, Adrian Peterson understands, Joel, about what you have to do when you don't have the ball in your hands. He's run every time they run the football, he gets it in his hands 76% of the time. #1 in the nation. But he's doing a better job blitz pickup. He's making himself available as a receiver for the quarterback when the ball's in his hands. He's become more of a complete player than he was as a true freshman, for sure.
And on that play, he attracted enough attention that Iglesias was wide open. They need 8. Ton of time, and Iglesias drops it. Well, they had the available receiver, the sophomore from Colleen. He can't believe it either. Downstairs we go. Noxie.
All right, Joel. Coach McCarney said at halftime they need to do 3 things better. One is tackle Adrian Peterson better. Easier said than done. Another, protect Brett Meyer. Also, they got to get some takeaways somewhere here in the second half. Then he hopes they can get back in it, guys.
Yeah, they got to make some big plays. We talked about it. Brian Baum, can he return one? Nope, fair catch. A guy that's got an 18-yard average, second best in the Big 12, is throttled, taken out of the return game again. Good hang time, the 38-yarder. A good job again by Michael Cohn, and that was into the wind. First half numbers for the key components for the Cyclones. And Brett Meyer, well, he had a couple of drops early, but then he picked it up.
Well, look at his yards per attempt and yards per completion are huge. And then Stevie Hicks, the big run at the end of the first half, really inflated his numbers. And Todd Blythe made a big catch, that 39-yard touchdown reception. And here you see they struggle. Out of their 6 possessions, 4 punts, a touchdown, then the one at the half that Stevie Hicks had the long run.
Lateral pursuit gets to Hicks. Mitsubishi keys to the game coming in for the Cyclones as they wanted to run the football. They have not been able to all that much, though.
Well, they wanted to get off to a quick start, and that was one thing they wanted to do right away. And we have an injured Iowa State player struggling to work his way back up. That's not Stevenson, is it?
Can't tell. We won't speculate, but a member of the offensive line.
Here's the keys: a quick start, and Oklahoma came down and scored on the first 3 possessions, so that was a minus. That one really hurt them. And they've been balanced. They wanted to stay with the running game. They've run the ball more than they've thrown it, so that's what they wanted to do. They stayed in their mindset there. Gang tackle, Adrian Peterson, 24 yards after contact. We've seen on the highlights we've shown over and over, Adrian Peterson breaking tackles, making people miss. That's probably been the biggest fly in their ointment, the lack of tackling.
Yeah, it's the left tackle, unfortunately, Scott Fisher. Looks like it could be the left side, left leg. Left, Jim Knox back in Norman. Let's package this weather and take it with us the rest of the tour.
Oh, beautiful.
Well, Fisher appeared to be okay as he made it off on his own. Now, Meyer out of the pocket and out of bounds. Out right at the 25. Now, was there a flag thrown late? No. So it's going to be 3rd long coming up as we take a look at the Big 12 standings as delivered by the United States Postal Service. And one of the great stories in the nation is on the road today at A&M. And that's the Missouri Tigers, Dave.
Sure is. Missouri Tigers, Nebraska breathing down their neck. Missouri starts 7-0. I mean, when's the last time, you're an alum, Joel, when's the last time Missouri started 7-0?
I was there.
Man.
1973 was 6-0. Well, you know what? I got to check it. That was the 6-0 start.
Yeah.
Now, Meyer on 3rd and 11. It's Blythe, but it's behind him. That's tough because usually we're spoiled by that guy. Todd Blythe brings those in.
Brett Meyer not real happy about the inaccuracy. Throwing on the run, his mechanics a little messed up as he can't really transfer his weight well enough, and he throws the ball behind Todd Blythe, and it was available. It was there. And as he had to lurch his way back toward the line of scrimmage, he lost his mechanics.
Reggie Smith waits for the punt for the Sooners. This is the way they started the game. Cyclones 3 and out with a punt, 3 and out with a punt. They found themselves down 14-0. Their first 2 series. Smith stays away from it. Bad break for Reggie and Oklahoma. And what a punt for Mike Brantner once again, the redshirt freshman from Bettendorf, as it's all the way down to the 2-yard line. How about a 73-yarder for Brantner? That'll help.
You're watching FSN Southwest.
Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma. Oklahoma leading Iowa State here in the 3rd quarter, 24-7. And rejoining us is Nelson Peterson, Adrian Peterson's father, who's watching Adrian play for the first time live since 9 years ago. So far, what is going through your mind as you're watching your son? How did you like his performance in the first half?
Performance in the first half was good. They stacking the line, so he has to just remain focused, remain patient, and things will open up for him.
How emotional has it been since the game has kicked off?
It's a safety.
Peterson threw it out of bounds after he put it on the ground. Adrian Peterson. Well, bad timing. He talking to his dad, he dropped it, put it down, and then presence of mind. It was going to be a safety either way.
Right.
So deuce, 2 more on the board for Iowa State, and they get the ball back.
But he thought, you know what? Do I have total possession? If I fumble it again, they recovered. It's a touchdown. So they don't get a clean exchange. He and Thompson, he says, let me get it out of bounds. I know if I throw it through the back of the end zone, it's a safety. I don't want to risk any touchdown. Let me get it out of here. And he gets rid of it, and it's a safety. But not a clean exchange. Thompson and Adrian Peterson, that's a bad field position area to do that when you're backed up on your own 2-yard line. Not only does Iowa State get the 2 points, they get the ball back because Oklahoma's going to have the free kick from their 20-yard line. Iowa State gets possession.
And it goes back to Reggie Smith letting that punt hit.
Right.
And he could have grabbed it. It looked like it was very catchable at around the 20, 25-yard line.
Frank Gans, who is a special teams guru in the NFL for many years, did a study one year. If you let the ball hit the ground, it usually costs you at least 13 yards of field position. And it cost Oklahoma more than those 13 yards. And on artificial turf, it's even a bigger number. You have to catch the football.
Yeah, and Oklahoma coming off a loss last week against Texas in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl. So they lost their Big 12 opener. Texas in the driver's seat right now. Baylor nice story at 2-0 so far in conference play. And a big game for A&M in the South today with Missouri down in College Station.
Baylor, with the game we had, they should have beaten TCU to open the season up.
They were awful in the red zone.
Yep, that's what cost them. But they could be 4-3 and 2-0. 4-2 and 2-0 in the conference.
Hartley is going to kick it away. They won't punt it. They'll kick it as they've got Flynn back deep. Also back there for the Cyclones, Renard Williams, and it's going to be Williams around the 20. Nice lane, hops a man, and he's got great field position out to the 44. So this could be a serious change in momentum in this game, as Iowa State has their best field position to start a drive the entire afternoon. Well, next week, College Football Saturday returns with a twin bill. It starts with Washington. They'll try to knock off one of the best teams in the nation, the Golden Bears of California, and it's presented in FSN HD. Then the Buffaloes, Dave, we're going to be right back here matching up with the Sooners. It all starts 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific, College Football Saturday kickoff show presented by Kia Sarah right here on FSN. Well, this could be the difference-making drive in the game if Iowa State's going to get there. They've got it outside of their own 44. Plenty of time for Meyer, and Blythe on the comeback gets the first down to the 43.
You know, Todd Blythe is a guy that makes contested catches. He's proven he can do that. What he's doing a better job of is running precise routes. And here he runs a little comeback route to the sideline, and the timing is outstanding. It's out of Meyer's hand before Blythe finishes his route. That's the kind of timing these two have. And mentioned in the first half, they're best buddies, roommates, best friends. So they've got that non-spoken communication going on right now.
Blythe up top. He's on the wide side of the field. Now they go to the opposite side. Man is complete for a short gain to the tight end Walter Nickel. He's got it for a couple as he's pushed backwards by Latimer, the middle linebacker. Gain of about 2 to the 41.
And right away after the safety, Iowa State comes out and they throw on the first 2 plays of the drive. That one's an easy pitch and catch right there. It's like a long lateral. In the running game, it's about a 2-yard pickup. Will they stay with Stevie Hicks? The last time we saw Stevie Hicks doing any damage was that last play before the half when the clock expired before he could get out of bounds.
Hicks is in there. He's flanking. Meyer to the right, out of the gun. Design run. Didn't fool anybody, and up front it was Carl Pendleton. Sapulpa, Oklahoma native, the junior, shut him down completely for a loss.
Well, it's a quarterback draw, design play, but you have to get it done up front. And here's where it didn't get done. You can't get knocked backwards. You have to make a stand and get beaten that quickly at the line of scrimmage. It's not going to work. I mean, you want the defensive lineman to eventually declare and take a side, but he can't beat you right off the line of scrimmage like that and get that kind of penetration in the backfield.
So it's going to be third, a little more than a dozen, almost 13. And a timeout is called, 2 to each side. Meyer didn't like what he saw, the package in the secondary. So Iowa State using an early second half timeout. It comes 5.5 minutes into the third. See if they can capitalize when we come back on the safety and the great field position.
Weekly dose of hardcore football. Watch college football next Saturday on FSN Southwest.
Big third down coming up for Iowa State as they stay pumped up here in Norman, Oklahoma. Let's take a look at the Big 12 leaders delivered by the United States Postal Service. Yards per catch, Todd Blythe. Now, this is among active players. Jason Hill of Washington State, but Blythe the best in the nation right now at 19 per grab.
For his career, pretty strong.
Well, can they get a dozen, almost 13 here. Extra man rushing, and there's a breakdown completely between the wide receiver John Davis, who turned out to the sideline, and he thought he was going downfield as Marcus Walker had a shot at it.
Absolutely, on different pages, not only on different pages, different volumes of the encyclopedia. Not even in the same volume. And fortunately for Iowa State, it didn't turn into a turnover because it could have. The guy who had the easiest opportunity to make the catch is Marcus Walker. Turned himself into the receiver. When the receiver ran the out, he stayed with the football.
Well, Brantner has had a sensational day. Now, can he pooch it out of bounds? No, it made it into the end zone over the head of Reggie Smith. So Oklahoma got a break despite the short field, and a real short field, 56 yards away from pay dirt. Iowa State doesn't take advantage of it, and Oklahoma's got it back at their own 20. Well, kick off your football weekend tonight with Pro Football Preview. NFL insider Jay Glazers, joined by former NFL stars Tim Brown, Eddie George, Jason Sehorn. We'll break down the biggest stories from across the NFL. Pro Football Preview tonight, 11 o'clock, only on FSN. Clock moves. New in college football this year. As soon as they put it down on a change of possession, it rolls. Games a little bit shorter by about 10 minutes a game, a little bit more than 10. Adrian Peterson weaving his way. Let's see if they get him going now. He got about 5 on that, and they give him a steady diet of the football. Jim Knox, what's going on?
Joe, good news for Iowa State on the offensive side. Scott Fisher, big offensive lineman, number 69. His knee checks out okay. He was back on that last series. Meanwhile, bad news on the defensive side. DeAndre Jackson, number 4, the fine cornerback, unable to return the rest of the game due to a knee injury, guys.
Yeah, he got that right knee twisted around. It'll be 2nd and 5 for the Sooners. Peterson, wide side pitch. Fullback tried to give him a block. Nothing else really downfield for him. And a half yard at the most. McKenzie wrapping up the running back.
Iowa State's doing a much better job of coming downhill and filling the gaps and being aggressive toward the line of scrimmage to get after Adrian Peterson. In the first half, John Sculdaney's group was accepting the blow. Here in the second half, they're delivering the blow. They're making Oklahoma counter them instead of them countering Oklahoma. It's all a mindset.
Well, they've not been able to take the ball away this year. That's their biggest problem. It'll be 3rd and less than 5, and tightrope. No, it never was brought in completely by Manuel Johnson. He had it momentarily, but it was popped out. Good job of the D-back Chris Brown on that side just to make sure he didn't hold on.
Take a look. See,
did he juggle it?
Did he have full possession? The left foot's down, and he puts the. He has. If he has possession, it's a catch. Because the left foot is down, he backs out with the right foot. Does he have full control, and the ball pops out of there? The official rule never had complete control of the football before he put that right foot down out of bounds because the left foot was in play. And they're going to take a look at it. They're going to take a look. And Bob Stoops, I think, is challenging them to take a look.
No, I was just talking about takeaways. Last year, Iowa State was a plus 15, Dave, in turnover ratio, plus 62 points in points off turnovers. Totally different story for.
Oklahoma's challenging the previous call on the field of incomplete pass.
Yes, totally different story for John Sculdaney's squad this year. They're a -1 so far over their first 6 games in turnover ratio, and they're a -9 in points off giveaways. That is a dramatic difference from last year.
Yeah, 3 of the last 5 years, they were plus 12, plus 10, plus 14. And the reason they're not getting turnovers this year is that so many new players aren't really sure where they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to do, so not playing as fast and not as sudden. And with suddenness comes turnovers, and they just don't have that this year like they have in the past. Guys are just kind of a little bit unsure. And when you're unsure, you can't play as fast as you want to.
We're going to keep it right here with 7:47 to play. And that has been stable for Iowa State. Dave, you mentioned it.
After review, the play stance is called on the field. Oklahoma's charged with a timeout.
Just talked about length of games. That'll shorten this one.
Bob Stoops shaking his head. If there's a coach in the league in the country that probably dislikes instant replay more than Bob Stoops, I'd like to meet him after that Oregon experience. Oh my goodness. And it just seems like nothing has gone his way with respect to instant replay and challenges all year long.
Yeah, leaned to punt it away. It'll be Michael Cone. And now will Baum get a chance for the first time today? Another good one by Cone. Good hang time, good direction. As Baum won't touch it, but it'll take an Iowa State roll. And they've got it again in solid shape, their own 35. So the opening is there for Iowa State to climb right back into this situation. Dr. Pepper Big 12 football championship game is back in a great place. And what a college atmosphere it is anyway at Arrowhead. It'll be Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Saturday, December 2nd. 5 of the past 6 seasons, Big 12 championship participant has been in the BCS national title picture. So, and they've played for the national championship. So get your tickets by calling 800-676-5488. 800-676-5488. You can log on to Ticketmaster.com.
Look at how long it takes them to come up with the ideas for those costumes.
Now, Scales, he had a couple of carries in the first half. Gets a couple. That is it. It'll be second and long. A little more than 7 minutes left in the third. Well, Oklahoma's done a better job today defensively out of the locker room in the second half. First down marker brought to you by Overstock.com with live customer service and online best price guarantee. Shopping online has never been easier. Overstock.com. And I bring up that they've done a better job because they were delivered a couple of haymakers by Texas out of the locker room in the third quarter last week in Dallas.
And Iowa State has to think about scoring here. They're starting to lose. The time is their biggest enemy right now. Time left in the game. They're down 2 scores.
Meyer trying to create.
Oh.
And it's intercepted.
Wow.
What a mistake. Picked off on the sideline and coming up with it, the linebacker, Rufus Alexander.
Boy, Brett Meyer, as he's delivering the football, gets grabbed and loses control of the football and put his team in jeopardy. Had not made a mistake the entire football game. This one is a short field as a result of this mistake. As he's trying to get himself out of bounds, IU gives him a push and he loses total momentum. Dangerous, just take it, need it at that point in time. He's trying to just shot put the ball down the football field to pick up Jason Scales out of the backfield.
He was covered too, though.
He was. It was a poor decision. IU gets a big assist on that pick.
Peterson on first down follows his blocking well. As he put a hand on the back of his center, John Cooper, he said, "Take me, big boy," and he did for about 8.
And I think this is the thing that Adrian Peterson has learned, patience. Now look at him, let it set up, gets on the hip of his offensive lineman and cuts off the block, cuts it back up inside. You know, it doesn't do you any good to run out ahead of your blockers. I mean, if you're not patient, give them time to get ahead of you and you do your job, it's not going to be successful. That was nice patience and vision by Adrian Peterson on that run.
Well, a real big first drive for Peterson.
But as you said,
you said, they've done a good job of containing him. And this time up off the edge is the backer, Alvin Bowen. And did he ever wrap him completely? It'll still be third down and a couple.
You know, there's no magic formula to good run defense. It's assignment, getting lined up right, and then hitting the right gaps, and then getting off blocks and tackling people, period. I mean, that's what it boils down to. And if you get lined up wrong, or you don't get off a block, or you don't tackle well, you're going to get gashed. And when you do those things, you're going to stop the run.
Let's see if they go to Peterson, wide side of the field. They do. John Banks slowed them down, and they clean up afterwards. Caleb Berg, the strong safety. Give Banks credit, though, at the point of attack.
Absolutely. He was the disruptor. He's the one that threw Adrian Peterson off course. And once you make Adrian Peterson turn sideways, and Berg's the injured party for, it looks like he might be cramping potentially. They're going to move that his toes back on that right leg. Once you make him turn his shoulder pads and go sideways, you know, he's more human. He's not Superman anymore. When he's got his shoulder pads squared up and going downhill, no one wants to be the first one to hit him. He is unbelievable. I mean, he's the ultimate warrior mentality for sure.
Well, his overall strength. I mean, we've seen some tough running backs, but Dave, this guy has no body fat at all. I mean, he is just chiseled.
Well, Joel, here's the thing. I asked Jerry Schmidt, the strength coach, yesterday, what is your biggest strength story? He said Adrian Peterson takes an 80-pound dumbbell and then jumps up on a box that's 42 inches in the air. He goes vertical 42 inches with an 80-pound dumbbell in his hands. That is explosion and power.
They'll go for it on 4th and 2 from the 30. Thompson, middle of the field. John Finley, first down to the 25. Middle look easy.
Well, you go to your tight end. You get a big 6'6" tight end, and let him run a nice little option route. This is West Coast offense style right there, and deliver the football to him before the defense can react and get there, and does a good job of protecting himself. He knows the hit's coming.
Yeah, they started off the pick. This is the first time, believe it or not, Dave, they've started in Iowa State territory with the drive, and it took a 4th down conversion to keep the drive alive. Thompson, plenty of time. Man on the outside. It's his other tight end. Jermaine Gresham, a true freshman, Ardmore, Oklahoma, with his first catch of the day.
And he is highly, highly regarded. I mean, 6'6", 250 pounds, and a true freshman. And he's going to get more and more playing time. He's starting to make the transition to the college game very well.
Yeah, 6'6", 250, and he's a true freshman, 18 years old.
Amazing.
Great. Gain of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5. Peterson got a little wall over to the left side. And they've done a good job. He's had 9 carries today of 2 yards or less. That's how they've adjusted. Even his dad said they were stacking into the box. Put more men on the line of scrimmage. I would too.
Yeah, and that's why Paul Thompson has been so successful. But John Scladani says, you know, take my chances. When he saw Adrian Peterson bust that first run, you know, one of his big things was gang tackle, not let him have those breakout runs. Early in the game, he got that breakout run that led to Oklahoma's first score. And at that point, John Scladani said, if I have to put 11 in the box, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to let Adrian Peterson gash us like that.
Another 3rd and short for the Sooners. They are 4 of 9 overall on 3rd down. Finley, the motion man. Thompson, he's got his back and just sailed it right over the head of his other tight end over on that side. And it was available, but it just sailed completely.
Yeah,
on Thompson, it was over the head of Ian Pleasant.
Looked like when he opened his hips, you know, he just didn't have good body control at that point in time, and the release point was high.
So 3:29 to play, and a field goal try is coming up. Already lead now by 15, trying to make it an 18-point advantage.
Which is a 3-score game. 15, theoretically, with the 2-point conversion, is still a 2-score game. This would make it a 3.
Hartley has already hit one today. It'll be a 35-yard attempt on its way.
Boy,
has he been solid. He is now 12 of 13 on the season. So good from 46 earlier, 35 this time, and points off a turnover.
Introducing the all-new Dodge Caliber. It's anything but cute.
College Football Saturday presented by Kia Sarah continues from Norman, Oklahoma. It has been perfect. I mean, well, especially if you're a Sooner. Dodge scoring drive, points off a turnover, the Hartley field goal. But when I say perfect, here we are, middle of October, and it is magnificent in this part of the country. Right in the 70s, low 70s, as it's going to be brought back. And I don't want you take it. Austin Flynn will, but there was indecision with Williams and Flynn, and then nobody wanted it. Boy, talk about a breakdown in communication, just what they needed. 3:14 left in the 3rd, so we check in with Jim Knox.
The cheerleaders of the week, Oklahoma Sooner cheerleaders, they come from all over Kansas, Arkansas, Texas, even one from Oregon. They call this the side summy. Go ahead, take a whirl here. Go ahead. He's going to jump over 10 girls. Let's see how he does. Oh, flips over 10 girls. How about that action? All right, that's a high five, buddy. Yeah, good
Noxie,
job.
that's like Evel Knievel on foot.
I want to see Knox do that.
Man.
What about Jim?
How about that?
I thought Knox was going to do it. On 1st down, Hicks just pounds it straight ahead for about 3. I can tell you one thing. Knox is fit enough to do that. I've got my money on Jim Knox.
I'll tell you, they call that a sumi. I don't know about that sumi stuff. I know I wouldn't be leaving my feet.
Joel, I'm going to work on that sometime here in the second.
Jim, it's a given. You are the most fit of our group. I'll put you up against those kids.
Really?
I mean it.
Well, we're talking about us 3, right?
I already said my money's on you.
Noxie, I want to see him toss you in the air. Give us a little toss.
Wait, let me ask you this. How many can Dave Lapham make it over?
I could go over half. I can run through all 10 of them.
It depends if we're going to dangle anything on the other side.
I can
just kick big guy.
I can run through 10. I can run through them all.
Brett Meyer on 2nd down. He's got Austin Flynn, and he's right at the 1st down marker.
Yeah, I used to grade a 9.2 on the Florex regularly. my best event, though, was the pummel horse, because I'm going to pummel you.
All you do is round off into bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Your round-offs.
No doubt about it.
Does he have enough for the 1st down?
Just to go short, huh?
There will be 3rd inches. Austin Flynn, and you talked about it, a converted quarterback who's been main target at the wide receiver position. Hicks.
Whoa.
And what a battle that is. It'll depend upon the spot. After he got hit, don't forget he was still on top of a body, and he continued to roll. He never touched the ground.
I'll tell you, there was great penetration. Latimer came over the top and made a hit, but the down lineman really reestablished the line of scrimmage backwards. Latimer's slow to get up. That was big, big contact with he and Stevie Hicks. It starts right here, though. These guys reestablishing the line of scrimmage, knocking it backwards. They get after a little bit and get the push, and that's just a great job. Latimer makes the big hit and the penetration also by Granger.
Smart play by Hicks, though, because his body had yet to touch the ground. He was still on top of bodies, and he spun ahead and may have gotten enough for the first down. They are desperate right now for a first down and any momentum in the second half offensively. Did he get it? By the spin. He's got it, knows the football. That's a heads-up play by the senior from Omaha, Stevie Hicks. A couple of years ago when he was healthy, 88 yards a game, had better than 1,000 on the ground. Last year, he just couldn't get going. He was slowed down by injuries.
Well, he is a traditional thumper. You know, he'll slash, he'll thump. He's not a guy, we didn't, you know, the run that he had right before the half, he doesn't possess blazing speed, but he is important to the offensive success of Iowa State.
They've got her at the 34. Pressure again on Meyer, and down he goes. It was Dorian Williams, a free safety, but the push by the defensive tackle, that was pretty intense.
Exactly. You know, the front four is playing very solidly for Oklahoma. They haven't racked up a lot of tackles, but they are involved in the pressure. And this is just a little bit of a naked bootleg action, and Stevie Hicks got detonated. I mean,
DeMarcus Granger.
Yeah, Granger got him on that little play action deal. Ran a little counter. We're going to try to naked bootleg off of it, but they had a blitz that was called perfectly. Darian Williams was right in the face of the naked bootleg.
So lost back to the 25. And now it is going to be second and almost 20. Underneath screen, nothing doing. Again, Williams was there for the free safety. Yeah, they went to Marcus Hamilton for the first time, the redshirt freshman from right here in Oklahoma City.
Well, it's going to be, as the play takes place, the screen is taken away to the right side, and he's going to come back to this side. It's just a pretty good job by Oklahoma. The screen taken away, Stevie Hicks isn't available, so they had screens set up on either side of the field, and it was just a read by Meyer. Oklahoma was up to the task defensively. Iowa State trying to spread them out by formation and run a screen to either side of the field.
Got the play off by a second. Final play of the third. Shallow cross. Flynn won't get there. It was a real long third down to begin with. They'll give a little breathing space to the punter when we come back. Calvin Thibodeau, the senior from Houston, the second team, all Big 12er last year. First one down there. Got him low. So that's the end of the third 15 minutes of play. No offense again for Iowa State, though. Only point Zega was on a safety. 27-9 Sooner.
He's back. Scarface, the world is yours. Rated M for mature.
Every dog passes today.
Start of the fourth quarter, 27-9 Oklahoma over Iowa State. Joel Myers, Dave Lapp, Jim Knox. Our eHarmony game summary. Lapham.
Well, they're making Adrian Peterson work for it. He had the big run in the first quarter. Since then, Iowa State playing much better gap control defense, and Kelly and Johnson taken over by air for Oklahoma.
And they almost get to the punt. Now, what kind of return is it going to be? Not bad that time. We haven't seen much. And a loose ball at the end for Reggie Smith, but I thought he was down already. It's a scramble. And no, they say he wasn't down. Iowa State says they've got it.
Well, Oklahoma came out with the football and dished it to the official.
Well, I'll tell you, it's not Oregon, so I think Oklahoma's safe.
Yeah. Lendy Holmes came out with the football and gave it and tossed it to the official. So take a look at the action here. There's the strip. The ball is out. I mean, the tomahawk chop.
It was ripped before the knee went down.
The ball's on the ground. Lendy Holmes came up with it. Number 11 in the red jersey came up with the football for the Sooners. Almost an extremely short field for the Cyclones.
They have struggled so much offensively, though. You wonder if it would have made a difference. Adrian Peterson, gap up the middle, and he spins his way across the 30 out to the 31. You'd have to think, Dave, that they'll now start to pound him, because in the second half, he gets stronger as the game goes on.
He definitely does, Joel, and he's creeping up on 100 yards again, as he always does. And as you take a look at him, he gets off to a decent start, but in the second half, 59% of his yards come in the second half, and his biggest percentage is in the fourth quarter, so he starts to wear people down. And Iowa State doesn't have a whole lot of depth, so they get worn down anyway. They're injured. They're missing players today that are instrumental in their success, like DeAndre Jackson. I think they will pound Peterson.
Peterson with 100-plus yards against Texas, and there he goes again. He's over 100 yards. That time, he's got better than 20 on the carry, almost 21. And he was at 100 on 22 carries before that. So he's going to start piling them up now against a team that's got to get tired.
Yeah, he will. And this is an offensive lineman's dream, believe me. You have a 3-score advantage, and you just want to pound. You look at that hole is immense. And Adrian Peterson, you give him an opportunity like that to get up the football field, and nobody has slowed him down a bit. That first hit hurts. This guy is solid as a rock.
Well, give him 115 yards. Now he breaks out of a tackle and into the secondary, making a miss again to the 42. Give him another dozen on that carry. He's that strong, and we talked about his overall strength. A lot of times we talk about a guy in his lower body, but he's from top to bottom that strong.
He is. He's a specimen, and he's got tremendous acceleration. I mean, his first step quickness is as good as there is, and gets kneed in the small of the back a little bit at the conclusion of that run. But Iowa State has got an injured linebacker, it looks like, at about the 35-yard line. That's Bowen, the leading tackler in the nation.
Well, they don't list a lot of backs behind Adrian Peterson. You notice that in Oklahoma's depth chart?
Right.
One.
Right.
And nobody really gets any carries besides Adrian Peterson around here.
Well, coming into today's game, he had been responsible for 75.9% of the rushes of his football team. That's more than anybody, percentage-wise.
Well, and take into consideration the quarterback gets a few.
Yeah.
So then you go to the tailback.
Right. But they don't want to give Thompson could probably handle more than they give him, but they don't want to get him hurt because of lack of depth. But when you have a cannon, the old philosophy is when you have a cannon, continue to light the fuse and fire it. And Adrian Peterson is a cannon.
Well, Alan Patrick's going to take over, the junior from Conway, South Carolina. And his biggest contribution so far today, Alan Patrick, was knocking DeAndre Jackson out of the game, the defensive back on a return.
Yeah, he had some help. Hit down low, got the knee, and he hit him right under the chin, hit Jackson right under the chin.
So rare appearance for Patrick. Man, Thompson, he elects to throw. Thought about shoveling it off with Joe John Finley. A smart play. Take your loss, move on to the next snap, because it was only first down, and it's a loss of 5, almost 6. Brought down by Sean Moorhead.
And he's the rush end. Sean Moorhead coming into today's game had 3 tackles for loss and a couple of sacks. But I'll tell you, the guy that I really enjoy watching is Curvey. Big play Curvey. Stays after it, man. He's got a motor.
Yeah, I was about to say, his heart is so large. He's not a big guy. He's right at 6 even. Some of the best underneath tackles I've ever seen, though, are his size. Right at 6 feet.
305. Yep. Cat quick.
Thompson on the screen, and Patrick doesn't hold on to it. He was surrounded anyway. Curvey thought, hey, man, I want that ball. He almost got to it. And Bowen was there, too.
Very, very active. He's like a shot put with legs. You know, it's like he swallowed a bowling ball. He's got the big neck, and he just gets bigger from there. And, you know, and he's got that low center of gravity, and you have to come off the line of scrimmage on your kneecaps to get under his shoulder pads. I mean, he's very, very athletic and quick for that body type. He's a very special athlete.
He's a gap buster, isn't he?
He sure is.
It was fun to watch. Almost 3 minutes gone in the fourth. The Sooners in control. So now 3rd and long. Peterson back into the game. Thompson, coming down the face mask, and it was. It's going to be called on Rubin. It wasn't the type that you would think would get 15 yards, though. He's trying to slide down to get the tackle.
Thompson looks like he might have gotten poked in the eye by the way he's getting up.
Incidental face mask.
Yeah, he's grabbing his left eye. Yeah, he got poked.
5 yards added at the end of the run. Repeat 3rd down. 5 yards from the previous spot.
Ruben got one of those big fingers in the eye, and it's like getting poked by a hot dog. I mean, that's like a ham with 5 hot dogs hanging off, and he gets that big old left paw right up in the grill, and and gets up in the face, and Thompson immediately goes to that left eye. You get poked.
Well, each team had only one penalty going in that snap. 1 for 5 each, so it's been a real clean game.
Sure has.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
Yeah, right. And Oklahoma's penalty was on the first snap of the game. It negated a 34-yard pass. They only had 6 men on the line of scrimmage. It's the only penalty of the game. Last week they had 11, and it was a pre-snap penalty that drive Bob Stoops nuts.
Yeah, it surprised them with the 11 because they only had 22 over the previous 4.
Right.
Now on third, and a manageable third down at about 10. He out and drops. Iglesias drops another. Going down to try to cradle it. It got to his body and out.
That's exactly what happened, Joel. You got to get your hands out in front and catch the football with your hands. When you let it come into your body, it'll bounce off those shoulder pads, and when leather hits plastic, anything can happen. And you can't let that happen.
Tough day for that young man, the sophomore from Killeen. He had a nice early grab, but he's dropped 2.
And he can't get down. And Thompson's going to go back to him again. He has to keep his dauber up.
Mike Knoll into punt to Ryan Baum. The short one hits at the 15, bounces back across the 16-17, and that's where
to the classic cheesesteak stretched by Sonic. And now swipe your credit or My Sonic card from your car, only at Sonic.
Welcome back once again to Norman, Oklahoma. College Football Saturday on FSN, presented by Kia Zero. And it's the home opener. Now, of course, Oklahoma started their Big 12 season last week in a loss at Dallas against Texas. So far, Kansas. Cowboys have struggled a little bit. Kansas due for a big one, and especially at home because they've lost some heartbreakers, Dave.
They really have. Nebraska, Kansas, the game we had, the overtime loss to the Cornhuskers in Lincoln. Heck of a game. Baylor, Texas be intriguing as well.
First down, Iowa State. They're running out of racing room. Hicks checked that, and from behind by Zach Latimer after a gain of 1.5 yards, too. Downstairs, Jim Knox.
All right, Joe, looks like Austin Flynn, the wide receiver, number 8 for Iowa State, is out the rest of the game. Ankle injury. He's on the bench.
Boy,
this doesn't help.
No, you don't want to be losing bodies because Iowa State lost a few guys to injury prior to this, particularly defensively, but that's a blow to lose Austin Flynn. Very, very talented wideout.
They're down by 18. Iowa State's got to start thinking about hurry up. They've got to have a sense of urgency. As it went out for John Davis, is batted away on that side. Marcus Walker, who the coaching staff told us is the guy that has really meant a lot. He's the one that's been a pleasant development this year.
Exactly, and you know, even as much as you want to stay with the running game, when there's about 10.5 minutes to play in the game and you're down 3 scores, you do have to start firing the football. Because how many more possessions are you going to get? You have to score quickly. You have to strike quickly.
You would think this is one of 3 remaining for Iowa State possession-wise.
Probably, yeah, max.
They're only 1 for 9 on their third downs. One of the better ones in the Big 12 coming in. Flag down, false start against the offense.
Crowd noise, a little bit of an issue right there.
Before the snap, false start, 75 offense. 5 yards, 4 down.
And by the way, a former member of the Syracuse Orangemen just a few years back, Dave Lapham, my partner. Tough day. West Virginia 38, Syracuse 14. We were talking to Mike Goldberg and the guys about that. West Virginia, a lot of people think they're at least number 2 in the nation.
Yeah, they spanked Georgia in the bowl game last year and proved that their team speed was legit. They could really, really run. That false start penalty was on Aaron Brandt, who is fulfilling his potential this year. You know, he's really dedicated himself to the game, and he's getting better and better, the big right tackle for Iowa State, every football game.
They're now third and 13. Can they keep the drive alive? A little twist up front. Meyer buying some time, and now he's across the line anyway. Takes a pop, and will it be a flag? No flag thrown. He was right on the sideline, took a serious shot. Coming to get him was Larry Burdine, defensive end.
Larry Burdine said, Brett, you don't see me coming. This is what it's like to play quarterback. Man, that's a good little piece of contact right there. Brett Meyer taking off his feet.
Just a little tap?
Yeah. It's like, welcome to the Big 12. You know what it's all about.
So the second consecutive possession, Iowa State has gone 3 and out with a punt. Now, can Reggie Smith do something with the punt? No, he'll stay away on the fair catch. And it's going to take an Oklahoma bounce. He'll get it. At the Iowa State 49 when we come back. Only a 30-yarder that time for the Cyclones. We will return.
Where Southwest fans go first. FSN Southwest.
Sooners in control as we welcome you back to Norman, Oklahoma. 5 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. Sooners up by 18 over Iowa State. Our Dr. Pepper Student Athlete Spotlight here in Norman. Well, it's a backup running back for the Sooners, Jacob Gutierrez. Young man out of Madison High School in San Antonio. Joe John Finley sliding the tight end. Paul Thompson, and it was a skip. It did not, it hit the ground before Kelly got it, but he showed good hands anyway on the trap.
He did. Short hop.
And he sold it well.
Short hop. Paul Thompson overthrows this one a little bit, holds on to the ball a little bit too long, and yeah, it just skipped right there. But good, that was like a shortstop making a short hop play right there.
But Bob Stoops started lost the challenge. Yep. So.
Yeah, that's pretty clear that it hit the ground. Didn't get his hands underneath it.
Good job.
Skipped into his hands.
By this Big 12 crew. So now it's going to be 2nd and 10 from the 49. Head of officials with us today, Walt Anderson. Spoke with Walt at halftime. Look out. Yeah, nice spin as McKenzie cleaned up with Banks over on that side, slowing down Peterson. This is the young man I was just talking about, though, and a great young man.
Yeah.
Out of Madison High School in San Antonio.
Understands time management. Look at all the things that he's involved with. And remember the football team, all the time that takes, and still keep the grades up to where he keeps them. Won a 6 finalists for the John Wooden Citizen Cup.
Yeah, nice story.
That's just a complete young man right there.
Yeah,
well-rounded.
Obviously passionate.
Yep.
I mean, if you're going to be the backup running back to Adrian Peterson, you know going in the limitations. It's like being the backup shooting guard for the Lakers behind Kobe Bryant. They were looking in the direction of Malcolm Kelly. Not close. Man, a punting situation coming up. So the Sooners' failure on that makes them 4 for 11, make it 4 for 12 now. Neither team doing well on 3rd down. Only a third of the time the Sooners converting. And an awful percentage for Iowa State, 1 of 10.
Yeah, they were 0 for 5 in the first half and 1 for 5 in the second half so far. That's not going to win you football games converting 10% of the time on 3rd down.
Baum waits back inside the 10-yard line as Null tries to get the short one. Man, it's going to be a fair catch for Baum as Iowa State is going to have it when we come back.
Freshly prepared on a sesame seed bun. And like the original KFC Snacker, it's only 99 cents. Now your dollar goes further at KFC.
8:55 left in the fourth. Man, Iowa State running out of time. Deep with it in their own territory. Adrian Peterson, well, a hot start, but Iowa State has done a decent job of slowing him down for the most part.
Yeah, they have. They tried to eliminate him and make the Sooners go elsewhere, make Paul Thompson try to win the football game, but he's shown incredible ability with his balance, with his ability to finish runs, great tackles. Adrian Peterson has done what he always does. That's rush for over 100 yards, and now he's at 130 on 25 carries.
Cyclones, Brett Meyer throwing with pressure, a nice grab by his back to come up with it and actually mark him at the tight end. That was not easy.
Made a lot tougher than it should have been, because if Meyer throws the ball a little more accurately, he's still on his feet with yards after catch. There's nobody around him. If he can stay on his feet, he picks up at least another 5 more yards after receiving that football.
It's kind of funny, and I was about to say that when we had up there 130 yards for Adrian Peterson. You go, whoa, 130. But he's had 9 of 2 yards or less, 9 carries. He's had some big runs. Otherwise, you look at it, Iowa State's not done an awful job. Meyer in trouble. Man, didn't have the time as Carl Pendleton put him down. About a yard loss on the play. Jim Knox, what's going on downstairs?
All right, Joel, time to answer an email question. This comes from Craig out of Dallas. Wants to know what does the S stand for on these guys at Sooners game. What is this? Your name is?
My name is Clark Kent.
What's the S?
The S is for Sooner Man. You know, the S brings power, you know. We like to cheer on the team. We're super, we're mighty, you know.
You guys been been since how long?
Well, this is our 3rd season, started 2 seasons ago.
Your qualifications?
You got to be above 3 feet tall and under about 7 feet.
And you have to have hair gel like
you have to have a chub size and Elvis blue, just like that.
Caught out of bounds as Meyer got it to Moses. Mylan Moses in there for one of the few times today.
Suffering from Crohn's disease. That's a tough thing for him to battle, and he just wants to play football, loves to play the game. And did they call this incomplete? As Meyer breaks the pocket because of the pressure, does Moses control it? No, doesn't stay in bounds. Catches the football, but is unable to get that left foot down in bounds. But what a battler Moses is, boy, to be able to even be out there and competing.
Well, that's the 3rd consecutive 3 and out with a punt for Iowa State. Their 6th overall today. They started the game with 2.
Ooh, Shanker.
And a wobbler off the side of the foot. Man, it'll be grabbed by Iowa State, but boy, Oklahoma. They're already almost in field goal territory. And flags with a little activity.
Well, let's see if it's offsetting. Is it offsetting, or if there was a retaliation, didn't see the original, you can't retaliate. Let's see if this offsets or if it costs somebody. Little frustration. Nerve endings exposed.
After the play ended, personal foul number 22, receiving team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
So it is going to go against the Sooners. By Dr. Pepper. 23 flavors that add up to one bold taste. Dr. Pepper. There is more to it. Well, Oklahoma gets it back, and they've got it in great shape at their own 47-yard line. But it's interesting. They haven't done a thing offensively, Dave, in the second half. They've only got 3 points in the second half.
Yeah, neither offense has shown much in the second half.
Peterson setting up in a deep eye. Adrian will get it on the short side of the field. Gets nice blocks into the secondary. Weaving his way. There it goes. Touchdown, Oklahoma.
52-yard jaunt right there. Puts Adrian Peterson up over 180 yards rushing now. And injured Iowa State defender at about the 1-yard line. And Adrian Peterson moves past Quentin Griffin and now ranks number 4 all-time in Oklahoma rushing history. 183 yards today now. Good job. Guys cut to the ground. A couple of Iowa State defenders knocked off their feet. You get Adrian Peterson out in the open field with those jackhammer feet doing their thing. Tough duty to tackle him one-on-one. Full head of steam. He was never slowed down.
His father, as you see, has been incarcerated for the last 9 years. First time he has seen him, at least in person. He has not been able to attend a football game with his sons. He took a shot at the end of that play, and you could tell it was an impact shot on Adrian Peterson.
And now his signature is diving into the end zone to finish runs.
At this point, Dave, and we're going to be back here next week, he's 151 yards away from surpassing Billy Sims' totals as the all-time leading rusher in Sooner history. Hartley for the point after. And it is now 34-9 Oklahoma. So an insurance policy as if they needed it with 6.5 to play.
Well, this is what Adrian Peterson will go for 3, go for 1, go for -1, and then he'll go for 52 as he does right here. And just
Sayonara.
Even when it's international, the post office comes to you with free package pickup.
Garrett Hartley ready to kick it away, and welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma. 6:35 left in regulation. Man, the Sooners on their way to evening up their conference record, their home opener in Big 12 play. Peterson did take a shot from the side as he hit the 1-2 yard line before he fell into the end zone. And they continue to look at him over on the sideline.
I think he's done for the day.
Line drive will be out of the end zone. That's with the wind at the back of the place kicker. Going with the 1-iron. So Iowa State will have it at their own 20. Iowa State's only points of the second half on a safety. A fumble by Peterson where he threw it out of the end zone. Yeah, that man was taken right out of the game, Ryan Baum. And Dan McCartney told us that Baum, he looks too small to play, doesn't look like he can get it done, and he shows up every time. In fact, he's 8th in the nation in punt returns.
And look what Oklahoma has done defensively. 32 yards Iowa State has generated in the second half. 32 yards.
That Mizzou A&M game is going to be kicking pretty soon, by the way. Stevie Hicks pushed backwards after a gain of 2. Big one for both teams. 5-1 A&M, 6-0 Mizzou. It's a good game in the Big 12 today. Alexander on the stop. First down marker brought to you by Overstock.com, your online source for savings on everything from video games to big screen TVs. There's some great battles now in the Big 12. As we are halfway through the regular season, but the conference season, it is starting. Just getting underway and heating up.
And these games, these 2 games against Iowa State and Colorado are big for Oklahoma because 4 of their last 5 conference games are on the road.
Meyer finding John Davis. He'll get the first down, and it'll pay for it. He's got it up to the 33. Stop it momentarily for the movement of the chains.
So that's when you have to finish your season, 4 of your last 5 conference games for Oklahoma on the road, that's tough sledding. So they want to make hay now. Looks like they have Iowa State on the ropes, to say the least. 34-9, up 25 with 5 minutes to play. Colorado comes in next week, and they're struggling this season. So Oklahoma can get those 2 under their belt. They'll feel a lot better finishing 4 out of their 5 in a row.
Pressure on Meyer. He escapes it. And then Alexander catches up with him. Maybe get Latimer instead for a short game, but as Oklahoma wants to do is they want to make them stay in bounds, just keep the clock moving.
Now, Oklahoma's defense returns a lot of guys that were highly successful last season. A lot of people are scratching their heads. It's curious why they're not performing at a higher level coming into this football game. I thought today that their pressure was pretty good. And I thought they had Brett Meyer out of rhythm the entire football game. I think Bob Stoops has to be overall pretty pleased with the effort and performance of his defense.
Empty backfield. Meyer's got 5 in pattern. And a bullet is complete to Summerall, his first catch of the day. The sophomore from Orlando had 20 grabs last year. That's his 13th so far this season. It's good for a first down and 12 yards.
It was a fastball, wasn't it? I mean, he brought that football. And Oklahoma came off the edge. They brought Harris off the edge again, the safety. But it wasn't in Meyer's hand very long. He got rid of that thing, and he threw a heat-seeking missile to Summerall.
Now for Oklahoma, they just want to keep everything in front of them and make Iowa State use the clock. So their mentality has changed defensively. It's a straight 4-man rush and a hold on the edge. Got away with it. Man, the completion. First catch going over to pick it up for Iowa State. That was a resourceful one for Brett Meyer. It was Mylan Moses, and that's his first catch of the season. His 4th game. You mentioned it, battling Crohn's disease.
Well, what you have is Fisher, the big tackle who was injured and came back into the football game. He can't move like he has been. He grabs, and that's what the hold that you were talking about, Joel, and the fans were booing at the conclusion of the play because they thought that there was a hold. Meyer showing the elusiveness, escapability, get away from that pressure when Fisher was beaten, completes the football to the sideline.
So now it's going to be second and about a yard. Pounding it straight up the middle. It is Ryan Cook. He's got the first down, the senior from Loreauville, Iowa. And he's a great story because of all the touchdowns that he has had.
Right.
He had so few carries.
Yeah, he's got on 85 carries, he's got 16 touchdowns. That's a phenomenal ratio. And he's got a body lean now, and he hits it hard. When he's at the line of scrimmage, you better bring something because he's bringing it.
So it's to the 41. These are the first downs over the last 4 series for Iowa State. It has been that tough for them to move the football today.
Too much time.
How could that happen to a team down by this much? That's a rarity. And I talked about the sense of urgency at the 10-minute mark left in the game when we thought they'd have 3 possessions.
You know, you look at Iowa State's defense today, Joel. They started off, they were struggling. Barney Cotton, the offensive coordinator, trying to get something done here to cut into this big deficit. But defensively, they had only given up 2 100-yard rushers on the season. They both came last week against Nebraska, and Peterson creased them today.
Meyer taking off with a hold and a flag, and then a shot by Rufus Alexander's a personal foul, hitting the quarterback, lowering his shoulder into the face.
Now you got the offensive lineman coming to his defense, and got a little scrum going on down there. And I think they may have called Fisher for a hold on that one.
There's no doubt there's a personal foul on Alexander at the end of the play.
Yep, 3 flags in the field. I think 2 of them are for the same thing, the personal foul. And the one back at about midfield at the 49-yard line is the hold on Iowa State.
It wasn't Trent Green, but it was similar.
Holding offense number 69. After the play ended, personal foul number 42 defense, unnecessary roughness. Both penalties will be enforced.
So both penalties would be walked off. Both penalties would be enforced, and ultimately it's a first down for Iowa State. Here's Fisher again at the left tackle position, and he is having trouble moving. He has that leg injury, and he gets the takedown. That was less of a hold than the other one. And then down the field as he gives himself up, there's big shot given. Man, Rufus Alexander got the lick.
And you don't need that at this stage of the game. So 1st and 15 coming up for Iowa State after the mark-offs. Inside of 3 left. I mean, in a game that's already over, you want to get out of here healthy. That's the most important thing. Blitz off the edge. Now Meyer has to worry about third down. Who gets him, but it's not a sack. He's right at the line of scrimmage. He had Lindy Holmes, who had to escape on the other side. Time for a Dr. Pepper game break. Let's head back and check in. Mike Goldberg.
Joel, we've been talking about number 4 West Virginia all day long. They were overwhelming. Sorry, Dave Lapham, over your Syracuse Orange, 41-17. How about Pat White? No reason to throw when you can carry 14 times, earn yourself 235 yards and 3 touchdowns. And by the way, Laps, Steve Slayton, 178 yards.
Jeez, that's a long day at the office for the Orange Man.
Meyer throwing it away over the head of Mylon Moses. Thanks to Mike Goldberg and the guys in the studio. So an easy one for West Virginia, as it turned out. It was 17-14 at one point, though.
Right. That 1-2 punch, White and Slayton, oh, man. Those guys, they could be a 4x100-meter relay team. Instead of a baton, they're passing around a football down there. Those guys can scoot now. West Virginia's got some quicks.
Mike, DeMarco, and Billy Ray are going to have full scoreboard coming up on our postgame report right after our matchup in Norman, Oklahoma. Minute 55 to play. So Iowa State lost their Big 12 opener last week. Now lose on the road. They'll fall to under 500. 3-4 overall this season. Oklahoma, that 4-2 easily could be 5-1. Overthrown and intercepted. Going back the other way, it's Williams, the safety, and he's out of bounds. He was out of bounds at about the 40-39-yard line. So that'll do it. And Williams had a phenomenal day to begin with. It was fitting that he got it.
Boy, some good blocks thrown on that return, too. Brett Meyer pressured a little bit, but he releases the football into double coverage, and boy, there's a block on the sideline that gets Williams going, and right there you saw the block. He did step out of bounds. Steps out of, here's the block. Boom, that gets him going a little bit further down the football field. He steps out of bounds just inside the 40-yard line.
So that's 2 sacks and now an interception for Darian Williams, a junior from Mesquite, Texas, who was a first-year starter. He was a part-time starter last season. So now the Sooners will come on with Patrick, the tailback, and run out the clock. These coaches are very close friends. In fact, Bob Stoops, we talked about it earlier, working as a graduate assistant when Dan McCarney was on Hayden Fry's staff in Iowa. And we're going to go back a long way. Time now for our Kyocera wireless call of the game. Adrian will get it on the short side of the field. Gets nice blocks. Into the secondary. Weaving his way. There it goes. Touchdown, Oklahoma. So Adrian Peterson done for the day, and what a day. 183 yards on 26 carries with a couple of scores. But Dan McCarney has said, you know, I'd rather not know the guy on the other sideline that well. He said it's always difficult as they worked and fixed the clock. It's really difficult when you've got a friend on the other sideline. He said that's the tough part. Well, our Best Buy player of the game, Adrian Peterson.
On Father's Day, his own Father's Day.
Meant a lot. His dad here watching him for the first time 9 years after he had been incarcerated. So a special day for that family. Alan Patrick, they just want to run out the clock. That's what I mean. The last thing Bob Stoops wants to do is run it up on a friend.
Oh, absolutely.
So it is all over in Norman, Oklahoma. Two old friends getting together, and it was a one-sided affair. Unfortunately for Dan McCarney, they couldn't compete in the second half offensively. But he's truly one of the great gentlemen that we get to work with every year in the Big 12.
Yes, he's good people. He's top shelf. There's no other way to term it. As good a guy as you're ever going to want to meet. Bob Stoops, credit to Oklahoma and the coaching profession and quality individual himself. Two good guys right there.
Without a doubt. So an easy win as it turned out, but the Sooners, they've got to get their act together offensively because they didn't do much in the second half. In fact, until Peterson peeled off that 53-yard run at the end, they only had 3 points in the second half against Iowa State.
Right.
And looking back on the day, and a memorable one, on 183 yards on 26 carries for Peterson.
And here, a couple of big runs. This was early in the game, and here's a touchdown run where he breaks some tackles, gets inside the pylon, and here's the big one, the 53-yard touchdown that put the game away. Salted it away, his second rushing touchdown of the day. And he just continues to finish runs like nobody else.
So Oklahoma gets it done at home. Their first Big 12 game here in Norman. And our final score once again, a 34-9 win for